Okay,
Okay, it's 9 o'clock on Tuesday, November the 25th. I'm going to call this meeting to order of Point Edward Village Council. And our task today is to review budget. Anyone with pecuniary interest? Or can be addressed at the time if it comes up, then,
I have one with St. Clair County.
okay.
might have one with fire later.
We can deal with it at the time. So the first item is budget introduction from 2026 Finance and Administration Committee Chair, Deputy Mayor Ray Brown.
So it's actually Ariana.
Ariana.
25.
2045 Chair is Ariana Noctor, and she's going to do the address. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Village of Point Edward's 2026 budget deliberations. Today's session is an opportunity for council to review question and clarify the details before us. Our role is to ensure that the decisions made reflect accurate information, thoughtful consideration, and the best interests of our community. This year, council is reviewing both the environmental services budget and the regular village budget together in a consolidated process. In past years, these budgets were presented at different times. However, for 2026, they're being brought forward on the same day so that council can consider the full financial picture. The draft budget before us proposes a 4.86 increase to the village property tax rates. County and school board rates are not yet available. Those numbers will be incorporated when they are released. For reference, the proposed municipal increase represents approximately $37.56 per $100,000. Council will also note that the draft includes a proposal to introduce a storm sewer service fee ranging from $5 for residential properties to $200 for large commercial properties. This fee is intended to support staffing and regulatory requirements within environmental services, and it also contemplates the creation of a stormwater reserve. Several capital considerations are highlighted in this year's documents, including the purchase of an ice resurfacing machine, the final contribution toward the replacement of the Point Edward fire and rescue engine truck, additional contributions to the waterfront park playground reserve, the beginning of a reserve for future upgrades at the Point Edward Memorial Arena, and the engineering work related to future reconstruction in the Church, Simpson, Mara, and Lent Street areas. The draft also reflects a relocation of certain costs from the capital budget to the operating budget, including expenses related to community events, the village calendar, and eScribe software. As with every budget cycle, adjustments are noted in wages, insurance, OPP contract obligations, and revenues. Council will also note the reduction in the amount of casino revenue allocated toward operating costs this year from $375,000 previously to $155,000. I want to thank our treasurer and all staff who have contributed to preparing the documents before us today. As we move into deliberations, our goal is to ensure the final budget reflects the needs and priorities of our community and supports responsible decision-making for the years ahead.
Thank you, Ariana. And now I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, Jane Q, for a few words.
Good morning, Mayor and councilors. Thank you for being here today as we review the proposed 2026 budget. Each year, our goal is to balance the services our community needs with planning for future improvements, which ensure to come up with a reasonable tax rate for our taxpayers. This presentation will go over the main parts of the proposed 2026 budget. We will start with the capital budget for major projects, then look at the operating budget, and finally review the water budget. After the presentation, managers will be available to answer the questions. This last one is the one I'm going to. 2026 budget process change. It seems we just completed the annual budget a few months ago. This is the third budget I'm presenting to council this year. First one, having an approved budget in place prior to the fiscal year, as council requested, also helps to streamline the process. The second change is we have incorporated the water budget into the main budget process, which provides a more comprehensive and coordinated financial plan. The third one, we have also created a clear separation between the capital budget and the reserve budget to support proper financial planning. Additionally, some expenditures previously included in the capital budget have been reclassified to operating budget to better reflect their need. This includes a single summer student wage, annual software licensing fees, and a few annual community events, such as Canada Day celebration, Christmas in the village, recognition night, and a vintage in the youth village. This transition does not impact tax levy, as the same funding sources continue to be applied. Because the budget is being completed earlier this year, we prepared a forecast for the remainder of the year to provide a proper comparison. In addition, the budget inputs have been broken down by months to improve budget variance and help manage cash flow. I understand that any change, especially in a small municipalities, can be challenging. Long-standing routines have been in place for many years, and these new processes may require adjustments. I sincerely appreciate everyone's support and cooperation throughout this transition. Next slide, please. Staff continue to look for ways to improve efficiency. This budget package includes a summary, analysis, charts, and detailed information for each capital project, reserve request, and a GL account. These documents reflect our commitment to council and the public in terms of being transparent and meaningful. Next slide, please. This analysis shows the village's financial position so far. Strength. The village has local funding support, which helps maintain financial stability. Weakness. Recent investments have created debt, and another external borrowing may need to be considered. Opportunity. Government grants are available, and we should explore these opportunities to support projects. Challenge. Tariffs have increased the cost of materials and major capital purchase items. Much of our infrastructure is aging, so an investment will be required in the coming years. Next slide, please. This slide outlines the total amount of each budget, capital budget. The total capital project request is $1.12 million, including new and additional requests. Total reserve requested amount is $1.16 million, and the estimated reserve balance at the end of 2026 is $5.82 million. The total operating expenditure is $6.22 million, which is an increase in amount of $156,292, resulting in an increase at 4.86%. Next slide, please. There are 13 new capital projects totaling $725,000 in requests, along with over 10 ongoing or unfinished projects carrying over approximately $500,000 from previous years. 8 of these projects require additional funding totaling $395,000. Currently, 50% of capital and reserve requests are funded through the casino contribution, which remains the village's primary source for capital funding. To remain financial flexibility, some projects have been marked as unfunded. Next, please. This chart illustrates the total capital budget request for each asset category in the 2026 budget. Blue bars represent additional funding requests for capitals that are already in progress or carry over from previous years. The orange bars represent new capital projects proposed to begin in 2026, pending council approval. Next, please. This chart shows the capital spending by asset type. The largest portion of the capital budget is approximately $314,000, representing 28% of the total capital budget for the buildings. Machinery and equipment is the second largest category with total request of $300,000, accounts for 27% of overall capital spending. This breakdown highlights the value focused on maintaining critical infrastructure while also investing in essential equipment to support operations. Next slide, please. This slide shows the overall reserve. As I mentioned, we have established a clear separation between the capital budget and the reserve budget, which provides clear insight. All reserve flow through both the operating and capital budgets and are approved by council as part of the overall budget process. The total reserve inflows amount to $2.1 million, including anticipated grants of $300,000 and another contribution of $537,000. The total reserve outflows funding $2.96 million in capital projects, including pilot year approved items such as the fire truck and the air pack purchase. Next slide, please.
Yep.
Previous one. Yes, thank you. This table lists all reserve effects. The total requested amount is $1.34 million as submitted by each department. Since substantial capital projects are prioritized, some reserve requests have been deferred, but will be considered for inclusion in next year's budget projects. Of the total requests, $1.16 million has been funded based on available funding sources. Next slide, please. This table lists all reserve, please. MET provides the village with a stable revenue source that doesn't rely on property taxes. It's paid by visitors, not residents, which helps ensure those using our services contribute to the cost of maintaining them. We use the previous years of MET revenue for the current year budget. Overall, MET enhances our long-term financial sustainability while reducing pressure on the tax base. Next, please. The 2026 operating budget includes a 4.86% increase in total expenditures. It amount $156,000 and in the amount of $156,292. A 1% change in the total budget is approximately $32,186. Key driver impacting the budget is the current economic climate environment and the continued inflation driving up service delivery costs. Given these two factors, the budget needs to increase in order to maintain current services levels and continue essential investment in the village infrastructure. Mitigation efforts, staff have reviewed opportunities to delay or eliminate some capital projects to help reduce the potential increase in the village portion of the property taxes. Meanwhile, a new store fee is being introduced and a new full-time employee has been requested. These changes will not impact the property tax levy. Next, please. The 2026 operating budget has been developed using the 2025 budget as a baseline with the primary objective of maintaining current programs and services. General tax levy includes the net operating cost for all village departments, excluding water and sewer, which are funded separately. The operating budget ensures that essential services continue to meet community needs while maintaining financial stability. Next slide. The village's primary revenue resource is the property tax, which accounts for 68% of the total revenues. The second largest source is the rental fees, the majority of which come from arena ice rentals. There is also tax growth due to one new residential building and a new commercial building in the village of Point Edward. This growth reduced the tax rate by 3.14%, amounting to $1,171. Next slide, please. This slide compares the village expenditures across different expense categories for 2025 forecast, 2025 budget, 2026 draft budget. This breakdown provides an overview of how expenses are allocated and highlights any changes moving into the 2026 budget. Next slide, please. This chart shows how the village's operating expenses are allocated across different categories. Staff wages and benefits is the largest expenditure, accounting for 40% of the total village operating expenses. Understanding this breakdown helps highlight the key drivers of our operating costs and the significant investment in the staff that supports services to the community. Next. This chart shows how the village's operating expenses are allocated across different service areas. Operations represent 39% of total village expenditures, making it the largest area of spending. This is due to the number of sub-departments and the width of services included within operations. The allocation reflects a significant cost associated with maintaining and improving public services. Next slide, please. This chart illustrates tax rate returns over the past 6 years. The 2026 rate reflects operating budget needs and fully covers the costs required to maintain services and operate the community. Next slide, please. For a residence valued at $100,000, the proposed 4.86% village tax rate increase results in an additional $37.56 for the village portion of the tax bill. The total tax bill cannot be finalized until the county tax rate is available. This breakdown illustrates the direct impact on homeowners. Next. Supporting our community grants to local charities. The village provides annual financial support to local charities to better our community. Well, funds are limited. Each application is evaluated based on its impact and alignment with community priorities. Total recommended funding for 2026 is $77,400. Next. This slide shows the debt payment schedule. Currently, the village has one external borrowing from Infrastructure Ontario in the amount of $2.5 million. Repayment is expected to begin in July 2026, aligned with the estimated completion of the Sinclair Street project. In addition, we have an internal borrowing that helps reduce the village external debt obligation. However, this internal borrowing is still considered as debt and must be included when determining the municipality's overall debt position based on the Municipal Act. With We may also need to consider a future financing option, as council has approved the environmental services building construction. Based on current water reserve balance, the estimated borrowing requirement is approximately $1.5 million. This chart illustrates these three debt obligations by project name. The table outlines the total payment for each. In the chart, the original bars represent interest and principal paid. Represent the total payment. And all the three borrowings are based on a 10-year term. The internal borrowing rate reflects current GIC market rates, while the external rate is estimated at 4%, which is expected to be lower than the current market rates. Next slide, please. Now we will review the proposed 2026 water and sewer budget, including the operating and capital budget, rate impact, and reserve considerations. Next slide, please. This slide outlines the total amount of each budget. Capital budget is $400,000. Reserve $5,000 has been deferred to the next year budget process. Total proposed water operating budget is $2.49 million. Next slide, please. Here is the 2026 water capital project list. New building construction may require approximately $1.5 million in external borrowing due to insufficient reserve balance. Two projects totaling $900,000 are marked as unfunded to maintain a positive reserve balance. Next slide, please. Estimated reserve inflows is $672,000. Reserve outflows is $400,000 to fund capital project. Projected ending balance is $359,000. Next slide, please. This chart illustrates reserve balance trends over the past decade. The reserve is currently very low, primarily due to a significant capital spending on the new environmental services building. Next slide, please. The water and sewer budget shows an expenditure increase of $120,000, resulting in a 7.52% water rate increase and a 9.4 sewer rate increase. In addition, 50% of water meter reserve charge increase is required to replenish the low reserve. Next, please. This slide outlines the funding sources for the water and sewer operating budget. Over 90% of the revenue comes from the meter sales paid by the residents and the businesses. Additional funding sources include water and sanitary sewer charges, meter purchases, and investment income. Next. Here you can see how the water and sewer expenditures are allocated by expense category. Staff wages and benefits represent the largest portion of the budget. Remaining expenditures are allocated across materials, services, reserves, and other operational costs. Next slide, please. Fixed fees are the service charges which are based on the meter size regardless of any consumption. An increase of 7.52% for commercial and residential respectively. Next slide. Variable fees are based on the actual consumption. The reserve charge increased from 25% to 50% compared to 2025. The water rate increase of 7.52% reflects the overall expenditures increase. Sewer costs are normally higher than water costs, which results in a 9.4% sewer rate increase. Most houses use a 5/8" meter based on the 2025 average monthly consumption of 12.63 cubic meters. The combined water and sewer rate increase result in an average monthly increase of $14.70 per customer, or $176.47 a year. Next slide, please. Staff are still looking for financial planning improvements since the capital budget is a forecasted part of the long-term financial plan. A 5-year timeline needs to be incorporated into next year's budget process to ensure the village capital needs are planned and funding accordingly. External funding source can help offset rate increases and support reasonable tax and water sewer rates for residents. The village should actively pursue senior government grants and other available financial support to reduce the cost to the community. Most detailed information is available in the budget floor. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. As there are over 1,000 accounts and 70 departments set up in the system, I may not have an answer right away, but I will follow up on this meeting. Thank you so much.
Let's start with questions. I have one, and maybe it'll come up after. Typically, when we look at the water budget, we tend to promote or publish what other communities are doing to show where we fall. Are we displaying, do we have that information today?
I don't believe so, no.
Summary.
Yeah, we have it from last year. We can update it.
The comparison with the other.
Right, like, Petrolia and Humpton and to show where we fall within the water costs. Deputy Mayor Grimes?
Thanks, Jane, for your presentation. I just wanted to comment on the SWOT analysis that you did. I think we need to pay a little more attention to the evolution of casino revenue. I've been doing some analysis and some studies, and the online gaming industry is growing in leaps and bounds, and the next generation coming through are online people. And I just worry about 10 years out where our casino revenues go. So I think moving forward, we should be listing the casino and changes to that revenue stream, because when we think about what online shopping did to malls, online gambling may have the same impact on casinos, and who knows where we're going to be. So your analysis is great. I just think that we need to include that aspect as a challenge for us. So
Thank you for your comment. CEO Jim will give some additional information about the strategy, how we kind of start to build up our reserve, and then not heavily rely on casino contribution. And I think for 2026 budget, normally we have transferred $375,000 from casino contribution to the reserve, but always at the same time, the full amount applied to the tax levy pressure. But this year we only use portion, is not full amount. So that's kind of the start to kind of manage the contribute. How do we rely on the contribution?
Yeah. And I was happy to see that, because that was quite a dramatic drop. I think we went from 375 to 155. So that's the right direction as far as that goes. So I appreciate you capturing that. So.
We did take that tact, I believe, last year at budget, and ended up coming back up somewhat. It's been a strategy to wean off of using it, but at the end of the day, last year, I know we changed our number to use some of it, so continue to look at that. Any other, Councillor?
What's our current
Burgess?
tax at right now?
House, like
What's the percent that we?
Four.
Four. I just stayed in Toronto a week ago. I paid 5 and then there was a temporary 2.5% increase. Have we looked at possibly increasing it? Or how do we go about doing that?
Yeah. There's been no discussion to this point of increasing it at all, and it's really just a council decision.
Mhm.
When we first set up the mat tax, there was some consultation with the different hotels in the area just to, get their feedback and such. But they have to implement it. I would assume that if we passed a bylaw to go from 4% to 5 or something different, I would think there'd be a little bit of work for them to implement it, but I don't like it'd be like changing a rate from $90 a night to $100 a night. I don't think it would be a huge task to change that percentage on their end.
Yeah, I just pulled up my bill and I had 6% to Toronto and then a temporary 2.5% increase that I also paid on it.
Hmm.
So we're quite a bit lower.
We're 4% is what Sarni's at, what we're at, and at tourism, it's been discussed. But I would say at the board, there was not an appetite to increase. Because it's an impact on our visitors.
Mhm.
And we're doing well with what we're making.
I guess my point is I get hit when I travel
Right.
and I know in some other touristy areas, it's even more.
Right, and Niagara Falls is
And
the
I
same
think
thing.
we're significantly less than other regions, so even if it's a little bit, that's more money in our pocket, and I'm honestly not too concerned with what Sarnia does. I'm
Well,
more concerned about what we're doing.
It doesn't,
so.
it's just that our money, both of our monies go into the pot at tourism to work with.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying there's an impact that way.
We put this on the January
We can,
finance and
Yep.
administration agenda, please.
and we can reach out, like I believe that Orma does collection for most municipalities. So we can reach out to them and get some, province-wide numbers of what other municipalities are
Mark-
doing.
Mark
I don't
Perrin
think it
already
would be
has some
very
data.
difficult.
You can ask Mark, he's already collected data on what some other cities are doing.
At the same time, I think we should be addressing the whole short-term rental mat tax as well. So again, on the January agenda, I think that'd be great. Address both aspects of mat tax. Which is redundant. It's not bad.
I'd like to make a comment on what Paul said, that 2.5%, I believe that's, they put that on for World Cup coming up.
Yes.
So when they see a big event coming into the city like that, they up the mat tax. Or they put a special tax in to help cover, costs for the city. So,
That's great. We're not gonna catch the World Cup, but
yeah, but I'm saying, like this is what they do, right?
We have 150th anniversary coming up.
Mhm.
150%.
So yeah, we'll add that to an agenda for January.
Is there any other questions? Again, Jane, that was really appreciative and love the visuals, very helpful.
There will be more questions.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Don't slink back to your office now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're moving on now. The first item is the Environmental Services Department budget, and we'll start with Environmental Services Capital.
We'll have Craig do his introduction
Oh,
first,
yeah.
maybe.
An introduction from Deputy Mayor Grimes.
Tim, not to move over.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Who's current 2025 current chair.
And it's a lot redundant now because Jane went into a lot of detail through her presentation, but just basically staff are requesting $1.5 million transfer from reserves and advised that the water reserve does not contain sufficient funds to support the remaining $1.5 million required for the new building project. As a result, we'll be applying for a loan, completing the funding package for the $3 million office and storage building at the plant previously approved by majority of council. The total capital budget request for 2026 is 1.9 million, which includes new building funds, plus we're looking at $200,000 for engineering design related to Mara, Simpson, Light, and Church Streets. These have been identified by our environmental services manager as the next priority for full and complete reconstruction. A new fixed backup generator on Venetian, annual camera inspections and plant valve replacements. There are also unfunded capital requests. $500,000 is to line the sewer pipes on St. Clair Street and Light Street. Jay's identified this as a solution that's less disruptive and more cost-effective method of prolonging the life of our aging infrastructure in that area. And $400,000 for phase 1 of the village-wide water meter replacement program, as our current meters are, as they get near, as they get older, there's some slippage and we could be getting some inaccurate readings. The operating budget, there's an increase of in operating expenses, and we're using some casino revenue that I saw to cover part of the capital loan and interest expense. There's a 7.5% increase to all service fees and water committee rates, 9.4% to sewage rates, and a 71% increase to reserve contributions. And this reflects another 50% increase. And this is based on council's direction over the last years to grow and build emergency reserves for environmental service sustainability. Key drivers include increased staffing costs, headcount, higher building and grounds maintenance expenses, machine maintenance, and additional laboratory testing. Later today, we'll be asked to consider the introduction of a storm water fee for all water customers. Staff are recommending this fee to support the hiring of a 5th environmental service employee, essentially a millwright, and to begin building a dedicated stormwater reserve in addition to improving our compliance reporting with the QMS, or the Ontario Drinking Water Quality Management Standard. The proposed fee structure, $5 per month for residential, $20 for small commercial, $200 for large commercial, $6 a month for small apartment buildings, and $200 a month for large apartment buildings. The fees projected to generate $183,000 annually. It would function much like a new tax on water users, and will increase the Blue Water Bridge's share of operating the Bayview pump station by approximately $11,000. And as noted by Jane, if this was applied to the village budget without the stormwater fee, it would represent an almost 6% property tax increase. Just for some background on stormwater fees, according to the Office of the Auditor General of Ontario, there are or were at least 14 municipalities in Ontario with dedicated stormwater fees: Aurora, Guelph, Kitchener, London, Markham, Middlesex Centre, Mississauga, Newmarket, Orillia, Ottawa, Richmond Hill, St. Thomas, Vaughan, and Waterloo. Environmental Commissioner of Ontario has reported that in Ontario, average stormwater fees for a single detached residential property range from about $3.95 a month to $14.92 a month. An interesting point of this is how municipalities calculate the fee varies a lot. Some use impervious area, that is the hard surface, others tied to property assessment, and others use hybrid or flat rate methods. Village staff are recommending monthly flat fee based on the property type. And examples of Ontario municipalities is attached to my comments. This represents a significant policy shift, that stormwater management has historically been funded through the village's general operating framework. And if approved, this new line item, in addition to the proposed increases to water and sewer rates, will need to be communicated to customers as soon as possible, as it's scheduled to take effect Jan 1, unless we provide direction to delay it. And I sort of elaborated on this earlier, but as we move through these budgets for the environmental services, I think we just have to keep in mind the cost of living pressures and how over the past 5 years, there's been substantial increases in essential living costs, the economic uncertainty with our neighbors. And then I talked about the casino revenue volatility and how the shift to online gaming is taking billions of dollars out of the traditional bricks and mortar. We just saw how the OLG closed the racetrack slots out at Hiawatha rather abruptly. It shows that they can do that. And the business shifting to the online gaming cuts down on what the host communities receive. And we all know that there's declining trips from the US to Canada, and the US are expanding their casino, sports betting, and online gambling options in the US, which reduces their need to come here to gamble. And if you've been following the media, Grand Bend is moving forward on the initial planning to open a casino in their community, which could also, as a tourist town, could also draw some people that way. So those trends show that while casino revenue remains helpful, it's not guaranteed, and we should be cautious about relying on it to support the ongoing costs or long-term capital commitments. So just in closing, many of our residents are facing real affordability challenges, and the broader economy remains uncertain. As council reviews the environmental services budget today, I hope we remain mindful of these realities and make decisions that protect both the long-term financial health of the village and the water treatment plant and the well-being of the residents and businesses of Brentford. Thank you.
Any questions? I have just a comment.
Yep.
At the beginning of your presentation, or your opening, you talked about, Mara, the Simpson, that money. Just relating that back to Jane's comment about government grants. So we believe that there's infrastructure money that will be coming available, but what you need to have is a project that's shovel ready. So by putting this money in, it was a strategy to be prepared to get that work done if the opportunity presents itself through this grant program.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like, I missed that, but yeah,
I
that,
just wanted to show
yeah.
it, we are,
that was the direction.
Yeah.
That's the reason we went that route, is to be shovel ready for a grant. Yeah. And I think we also approved 20,000 to start the surveying. Did we not, Jay?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. So we've already started surveying ahead of that. So,
yeah.
yeah, thanks for adding that.
Well, thank you, and thanks for your overview. So then we'll move into the capital.
Yep. Jay, do you want to
Yeah, Jane,
Well, it's-
up closer with
sit
Jane.
beside Jane? So do you want me to run the question and answer then? Or are you gonna make
Yeah.
it?
No.
Okay. So thank you, Jay, for coming up. So capital wise, I went through a lot of it. Is there anything you wanted? Anybody have any questions then on any of these items? And there's how we move forward with them? Mayor Hand?
I have a question around the lining. The lining project shows us unfunded.
Yes.
So can you explain that one to me?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what needs to be done. I don't understand the unfunded piece.
Currently, we've been working with, there's one company that we've been employing in Canada. That does sewer lighting of that size. The US company that I reached out to, which used to be from Leamington area, which is Liqueforce, they're no longer coming into Canada at this time, on tariffs and everything. So it leaves us with pretty much one option that we're gonna get interested in the project, and we're going back and forth. We've sent them all the camera work that's been done. We've sent them all the GIS and drawings, and they're currently working on pricing it. They had told me they were hoping to have all possibility of including it with the project they're doing in London. Unfortunately, the project in London, the timing for the project in London and this one are gonna work out. So we're still waiting for the dollar values, so we've put in that number as a placeholder, because we haven't got an indication of where that actual dollar value will be. Actually, just something, that's going to take doing updates, but they haven't responded, so that's why it's sitting as an unfunded, is we don't know the actual cost of it.
So it's confusing to me because I thought this work has to be done.
The work is recommended by the
Okay.
engineer.
Okay.
They're suggesting to get it done as soon as possible. So the hope is to get I was hoping that the number for the budget, so we can include it in the budget. Unfortunately, we don't have numbers. But yes, it would be recommended to do it as soon as possible, and that's coming from the engineer that was on the site that project.
Okay, so if we don't know and it's not in there, then what happens when it needs to be done?
We're gonna have to revisit that at that time, once we have the numbers, and it
Okay.
could be. it
Okay,
could
I get it.
On to 27.
Okay, that was the question I had, about, because I know there was some urgency, or I thought there was some urgency that work had to get done.
It's not an emergency,
Okay.
there is evidence of, some deterioration of some of the pipes after the final camera works, after the road reconstruction was done, which brought up concerns. And that's mainly from all of the.
Okay, that's helpful. I appreciate that explanation.
If I may, I think we would want to get this done before that final coat of pavement goes down, wouldn't we? Because if a pipe fails now, we're gonna mess that project up pretty good, wouldn't we?
Yeah, the idea to try to get it done as soon as possible would be prevent any damage to the road for having to go in and do repairs. There is a possibility of a springtime. Like they've told me that they would be able to start in the spring. To do it over the winter, the cost will go up substantially because they have to bring in basically boiler systems to keep the pipes in. So it's gonna be quite a bit more expensive to try to do it through the winter months. So their plan, once they get the numbers and present their information to us, would be they'd be able to start as soon as weather breaks in the spring.
So it's very likely that we'll be coming back to council
Okay.
or, once we get the numbers, we'll be coming back to council with this project.
And you have a plan on where you're gonna find the money?
Probably, depending on what the number is.
Go fund me or?
Yeah, well, just,
The tree, the money tree.
most likely add it to the borrowings for the St. Clair Street project.
Okay.
Most like, that's
I
really the only thought.
actually
Did it-
thought it was already in that plan.
I
So
always did
it
right from
was,
day one. I thought it was part of the
You
project.
did
it
too.
was part of the project that it had to be done, but it
Okay.
wasn't part of what was budgeted for.
Okay, that's my misunderstanding.
That it was
about this.
pulled out of the
Okay.
quote.
Okay.
Because if the reasoning for that is if we did it through a contractor and they were a subcontractor, they'd charge us an extra 10 or 15%.
Okay.
And it's going to be a significant amount of money.
Okay,
So trying to save that subcontractor piece.
Anything else, Mary Ann?
no, thank you. I don't know what anybody wants to talk about with the meter.
Yep.
The meters.
Anybody, any questions? Council Mondo? Okay. Paul? So my question is the Venetian generator, it's tied to a grant, hopefully. Have we booked the grant in as revenue on the budget?
No.
So why would, so.
So if we
would that not
do,
drop
if we do get the grant, we apply the grant towards the project. The money that we are budgeting for the project will go back into the reserve, which could then be used for
The lining
the lining project.
and
So we didn't book the revenue because we'd rather plan not to get it and get it than plan to get it and not get it. And we don't know. We have
and
no
the grant
idea.
amount, is it, what percentage of the project is it?
Yeah,
And all the conversations we had with the people that are helping us with the grant, they couldn't tell us the percentage, so we don't know what percentage it could be.
so we applied for the full amount of the full cost of the project, but there's nothing that guides us as to, is it a 50-50 project with, there's
And-
just very little.
Is there any benefit to delay this generator by a year, remove this from the capital, and if the grant comes in, proceed with it? But how would this affect the increase and the unfunded lining? We've been a long time without the generators. I'm just thinking, what would another year do to us? And would that help us with the lining and the increase to rates?
With the generator, it does, there's multiple issues with the generator, like we discussed the health and safety impacts. Staff around storms, thunder, lightning, snowstorms, they're parked on the road, so there are health and safety issues, especially with that station on the ocean. The ability to get there, we had a scenario in our emergency exercise a few years ago where we had a snowstorm scenario that we couldn't actually get the generator out, which therefore we would have severe potential flooding, sewer backups and the hotels. All the hotels basically rely on that pump station. So there are potential issues that could come up. This project has been on the books, I believe, since 2016. It keeps getting pushed. So we're trying to get it done. Another thing that we could do, there's been discussions with a generator for the community hall. By doing this, that would free up our 100 kilowatt generator, portable one, that we could use at the hall in an emergency situation. If we had to to power the hall.
Yeah.
So it would free up that portable generator for other uses as well.
But from the health and safety aspect, we've installed 3 generators, right?
We've had one, this year we've got, and because of the grant, we've started 2 more. So this would be the second last one
Right.
done. The panel as well, so the actual control panel and stuff, that would be part of this project. It's in poor condition. An example would be updated like we did with the kennel one out front, and we did some work this year on the lanes as well to try to get them back into, you know, a good state. It needs to be eventually replaced. The cabinet itself's in poor condition, all the controls and electrical and they don't.
But as it's presented in the budget now, you'll go ahead with it. And if a grant comes in, that's a bonus back to us.
Yes.
Versus if the grant doesn't come in, we don't move forward as planned right now.
That is the request, that we want to get this generator put in with or without the grant money.
Mary Hand?
This also brings in 18% from the bridge, right? Because it's
Not-
No, it's
No.
Venetian.
Venetian.
Yeah, this one wouldn't apply for the 18% from.
Oh, baby. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Okay, and then my other question is, the 100,000 for the staircases, I don't see it anywhere in any budget lines. Where is that being captured?
That was, I believe my understanding is it was approved to pull that out of the village, or sort of the wastewater reserve. So that's already coming out of the reserve. It's not in the 20.
It's just that it shows nowhere in any,
It's not in, no, it was approved. And it was approved, when we discussed that, it was approved to come out of the reserve.
mhm. But last committee, we sort of, like, we didn't sort of, we indicated, is there a way to reduce or cut some capital to try and replenish that reserve? Because it was, as you can see, our reserves are right down to almost nothing. And that's where I thought if the generator could be delayed a year, that would offset the cost of those staircases, and then we move it forward. Okay, I'm just worried about what was our reserve at now, $83,000 from the high of over $1 million.
Not for 2025, the water reserve is, but this is the base of $1.2 million. Is spent. They still have less, the project I've booked on the progress right now, maybe it's some start delay, or we still have funding on it, so, but this is as estimated $1.2 million and the expenditure steps.
If I could, so there was different discussions earlier about how to fund the environmental services building. There was a lot of discussion about funding it internally
Mhm.
rather than depleting all the reserves. The $1.2 million, it will not be spent in 2025. Speaking with the engineer and the contractors, there's no way they're gonna make that $1.2 million. They were hoping to have the building actually fully erected and closed in before December, at the end of December
Of this year?
of this year. Due to a couple of delays from the architects and the building departments, that's slowed that down. So we're not going to have that expenditure in 2025, it'll all move into sometime in 2026 now. So just, there will be significantly more for part of 2026, the early 2026 in that reserve.
But it's all allocated. It's not like we could go use it for something else because we were signing a contract with the building builder.
Yeah, so as the way the budget was done with using all the funds out of the water reserve towards the building, yes.
So it begs the question of, should we be borrowing 2 million and only taking $1 million out of reserves so that we have more of a, like, we're going to be 5 years probably before we get our reserves back up to where it's comfortable. Any thought, or is that, are you okay with us dropping our reserves to less than a year's salary?
we don't like to borrow money.
I agree.
You
Yeah,
know,
no, not a good one.
But if you were in an emergency, you could borrow money.
yeah,
Yeah.
it might be, you
It
know,
might be prudent to wait.
Yes,
for example, we're approved to borrow $6 million for the St. Clair Street project. We've only borrowed 2.5.
okay,
We may need to borrow some more. In the, like when we go to put the final coat of asphalt, we may have to borrow. We may choose to borrow against that for the lining project.
Yeah.
But we could, so what I'm suggesting is we can borrow up to the value of the project. So we can make arrangements with Infrastructure Ontario to borrow up to say 2.5 million or whatever we want.
mhm,
We're only going to pay on what we actually borrow. So we can prepare ourselves kind of for the worst case scenario of borrowing 2 or 2.5. But if at the end of the day, the cash flow allows us to only borrow 1 million or whatever, we can, you know, it does give us some flexibility to allow a higher borrowing limit. And then, you know, obviously, if there was decisions to be made around borrowing versus internal loans, there would be a council discussion about that.
I'll leave that with the three. I'm just, as long as everyone's okay with us dropping our
Mhm.
reserves, because we just worked so hard to build up these reserves, and we just, now, this building is probably a good use of the reserves,
Mhm.
because it's sort of an emergency thing that, so I get that, but I'm just
Yeah.
concerned about, we've talked about our plants aging, and there's other issues out there in the community, and $83,000 wouldn't go very far
No.
if we had an emergency at that plant, so. Jay, yeah, go ahead, Mary.
It's like a line of credit, right? The money that's sitting there.
Yeah.
It's
Basically,
a line of credit that is we're already approved for it. So if we got into dire circumstances, we also in an emergency would look at reserves from other pots. Which
Yep.
I think we had to do when we had the unexpected issue on Venetian. We had to take money.
Actually, that one with Venetian, because it's a stormwater issue, it was a village budget, it didn't affect the water
Okay,
side, so.
okay.
Jay, you had a comment?
I was just gonna mention that currently the fee structure for paying back the building is estimated as a 10-year loan.
Yep.
You know, in past meetings, it was discussed, we could change that term. Obviously, there's more interest costs involved, but, and you're locked into that, but you could extend the period of that loan, and then use, instead of having, you know, the higher payments, some of that could go back into reserves as well, but you have
I think 10 years is fair. And then the 112,000 for the loan payment, that's coming from casino revenue, is that where that comes from? Okay.
And for our activity. Is a 1.5 million fund, was all kind of funded from activity contribution.
Any other questions on this budget? Capital wise, no? Okay, seeing
So
none.
is this just on this item here, this is staying in?
The generator?
Generator.
Yeah, and nobody's made a motion to remove it, so I just want to have a discussion on
I think
it.
it's critical to that end of the village with new development coming, existing hotels, we talked about mat tax, hotels are closed, we don't get a mat tax.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of dominoes if we don't do this.
Okay, appreciate that. Okay, so environmental services budget, we'll
for now.
Yeah.
Well, the capital, well,
the
I
capital,
don't think
yeah.
we need to make any motion.
No, I'm saying we're good with the way it's presented, and the comments regarding the unfunded, you will,
What about the second unfunded item?
as the meter change, yeah. Okay.
What say you?
So the meter change program, we've been talking about this since 2017, 2018. We have asked Blue Water Power, I believe it was last year, to give us an updated price, so it started at, I believe, about 350,000, we're now estimating $400,000. So the longer we wait to start this program, it's gonna be obviously more expensive to do it. The majority of the meters in the village will be on their expected life terms. A lot of them are significantly past. That being said, the main reason for changing out meters is to prevent, water loss. As meters get older, they tend to read lower. We're still within approximately a 10% water loss in the village. So what we buy from laws and what we sell is still pretty good, and that 10% is considered a pretty reasonable number across the province. Once we get up closer to 15, then there's issues, whether it's meters or leaks in the ground, but we do annual leak detection, so we know we don't have leaks in the ground. So any loss, and the majority of loss we see would be through meters, and then unmetered use. So the unmetered use would be firefight, like the firefighting, anything that was done through the fire department, anything that's done with flushing, stuff like that.
When we were selling the water across from the plant, was that metered?
To reset?
Yeah,
Yes, that was all metered, so.
so the only unmetered would be when the fire department were training or fighting a fire, right?
Yeah, any
flushing.
use
Flood
from the fire
flushing.
department or any flushing that we do is unmetered.
And 10% isn't acceptable.
It's actually a pretty good percentage still. There's a lot of municipalities that are higher now. They basically tell you can't be below 4. Because there's just no way, if you're below 4, there's an issue because you can't be, there's always gonna be some water loss.
Yeah.
But anything 15 and above, you need to start really trying to figure out where that's going and address it. So we're still sitting, we've been about 10% for,
Quite a while, haven't we?
since I've been pretty much here, so 10 plus years.
And the 400,000 is for the entire project? Or,
That's,
because we talked about phases.
yes, that would be the complete project. Now, this number, because of the budget numbers, I didn't believe it was gonna be approved this year, so I didn't have Blue Water Power take the time to update the number, so it would be slightly higher, but again, it's not a priority, it's something we need to consider, and eventually we're gonna have to change the meters.
So I know, Jane, in your spreadsheets for this, you have like years. Should we be putting like 200,000 in 27 and 200,000 in 28 and do it as a 2-year project?
Same works, that's the kind of suggest we should do a 5-year.
Yeah,
Term, the capital and rather than into a year, so.
so would that work? Like do it in 2 phases over 2 years, Jay, or?
Yeah, we could split it up, any way we wanna. I believe Petrolia, when they did theirs, I think theirs was a 3-year term, they did it over 3 years. We can do it however the village decides. Blue Water Power will figure it out, and I'm sure if there's a contract, like with the contract, we could probably even work out something with Blue Water to lock the extra years in and have a fixed price with them, maybe not, but that's what I would suggest we try to do is get them to give us an updated price, and then if we sign the contract to go ahead with it, see if we can get them to lock the second and third year or whatever.
Is there consensus that that's a good approach?
I'm thinking that this is a heavy year for environmental with the building and whatnot. So shift it to the next year's budget and make that a priority item, not to come off again. And divide it into phases, if we do like Petrolia over 3, or we do 2, whatever we would decide, but
I think we're significantly smaller than
Yeah.
other communities, so I think we
Yeah.
should be able to do it in 2, right? Is that like a doable workload for Blue Water Power?
Yeah, they definitely, and they would prefer like for us to say right now, hey, we're gonna start this in the spring. They may not have the staff, so this way, if we plan it for
27, 28.
27, 28, they'd be able to actually make sure that they have the staff ready and available, depending on other projects that you're doing.
So will you, based on this conversation, Jay, approach Blue Water Power to get an updated quote and then bring it to committee? Is that how you would move this forward?
Well, I mean, I think
Or it's just
we
next year's
just bring it
agenda?
into next year's budget.
Okay. Okay,
We'll look at it through the 27 budget.
perfect, thanks. Okay. Any other questions on capital? No, seeing none. Next item is reserve budget summary. So it's a simple $5,000 item, so I don't think.
And it's deferred, like there's.
Yes. So we're good. Okay. Next one would be environmental services operating budget. Any questions?
We'll just go backward. Jay, you're okay with that?
stuff.
The only concern I have with deferring stuff, especially for the, we do have a 3-year plan to do the work. I know it's only $5,000, but if we continue, if next year gets deferred, nobody knows what next year's gonna bring. We can't continually defer it. Sooner or later, we're gonna have to pay for it.
I thought it was your recommendation to defer it. Where'd that come from?
It's on the. Have a heavy project and they're like going to borrow money, how to manage all the reserve balance, that's kind of considered not kind of deferred. And this has a priority to be included in the next year budget.
I just think 5,000 is a rounding error. So you're saying this is an important,
As long as everyone understands that the work will have to be done and, you know. Every year, this year we kept the same, the expenses are gonna go up. The company that's doing it's been really good at giving us last year's rates, the last couple of times they've done it. Eventually they're gonna have to increase, so, you know, come 3 years from now, because we did it this year. So in 3 years, instead of a $12,000 or $15,000 project, it may be a $25,000 project, because the costs keep going up, so they have to pay, you know, wages go up, their equipment costs go up, the fuel costs go up. Disposal costs go up significantly, so we can look at it, but I just want everyone. Council to be aware that it is going to be, you know, 3 years from now, it's gonna be probably more, so we're gonna have to have. Maybe a few years of slightly larger amounts put in the reserve, but I'm fine with it being deferred as long as. We keep it listed as, you know, in 3 years, we do need this money to be sitting there for that work to be done.
and I think the way Jane's got it set up, like there's 5 in now this year and 5 in next year, and then, so yeah, I think and it's, if we didn't defer, you wouldn't do it this year, would you?
Actually, we finished it this year.
Yeah, that's
So
what I thought.
over the years we've done it, it's been completed.
Yeah.
We've actually finished it. It was 2 weeks ago, the work I've done, so 3 years, so in 2028.
Yeah.
It's gonna be done again. Gonna be done.
Okay.
So we gotta have the money for 28.
For 28, we need to have the money.
Yeah, and it's all on, and it's in here as 5,000 a year for 3 years, so yeah, okay.
We may have to raise it, you know, these, we know it's in the books, anyways.
Okay. Operating, any questions?
I would like to talk about the increase in salary. that we're
Okay.
seeing on this one. So. Do we have a task by task breakdown of the WFS workload, like how many hours are required and critical and.
So that's, I think we're
Yeah, that's not
That's not
actually
in
in this
this
budget. It's in the
Village
storm
budget.
sewer in the village budget.
Same.
My question was, well, everybody's looking, summer student is increased significantly, is it an additional summer student, or is that just? We've gone like 24% increase in summer student wages.
Well, last year was a co-op and a summer student. Is that the same plan?
So basically, our summer student would be, depending on the term we have them, if we use college students. This year we had an 8-month co-op, and we had a 4-month summer student from the Ramsden program. So depending on what we end up doing for a term, if we find and then can use an 8-month term person again, depending on the wage that we pay those people. It could go up or down. This year, because they come with an OIT, we gave them an increase because they are legal to work in the system. So they have additional skills and qualifications above other students that work for the village.
So is this reflective then of what we spent this year? This 15,840? Or do you-
That's from October.
We. Yeah, so this year we just originally had budgeted 12,000 for a summer student, which is just a general summer student. With the one staff member being off on a leave, we decided to bring in the 8-month co-op student and the 4-month person from the college. So because it's gone up, we've put about $38,000 in costs this year. And that was being covered out of the wages from the person that's off on leave.
So we spent 38,000 on students this year.
Yeah.
On a $12,000 budget, but you offset it with
Wages from
a vacancy.
the person that was off, yeah.
and then, but
So this year would be
you're only budgeting 15 this year.
probably just my plan is only to have one person.
The 8th month or the 4-month?
I would like to try to extend it. We can set the length whatever we want. It would be nice to have the additional help. But it also depends on the quality of the student once they come in. And whether or not we can even get, like, there is a possibility that if we put this out, there may not be anybody from the program that wants to come to our position. There was only a few that did apply, like a lot of the students are from out of town, so we're trying to get positions closer to where they're from. So
does this increase then reflect? The 12,000 was for a student paid approximately minimum wage. And the 15,000 is what you're like a premium for the OIT licenses for a 4-month position,
I think last year was an OIT person.
right? Yeah.
yeah, so this would be, the way it was calculated, was approximately the same wage we use this year for a 4-month student. That's what that would cover.
So so last year you budgeted too low.
Last year it was always $12,000 for just a general summer student.
A high school,
Not-
college, but not with OIT.
an Operator. So with the leave that we had, we decided to go with the 2 positions that both have OITs. This 15,000 will cover the cost of OIT from the college for 4 months.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question on revenues.
Well,
Sanitary sewers for Aqua, Lake Erie yachts and Sarnia Yacht Club. Those are not metered today. And I know the discussion happened, I think, at the last committee meeting about if Aqua's gonna put, or we putting a meter in, Aqua putting a meter in.
Aqua's going to be installing meters at the plant. For their sewage, like for their wastewater or processed water, we'll call it, that comes to the village system. It hasn't been discussed further at that level of how we're gonna have a new fee structure and how that's gonna look. Basically, my suggestion will be if they come to us and they think we're overcharging for the volume of water, then we'll adjust the rate to basically keep it where we are. They're hoping to see some, reductions in costs, and we're working on keeping our revenue the same.
So we could be either way. We're not-
Depending on the negotiations, yes.
Yeah, and the other two is not a huge volume or dollar amount, but there's no talk of putting meters in.
We've never had any discussions with either of you. Clubs to do anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
So in the revenue section of the operating budget, it shows a 16% increase, and yet our rates are like 7% and 9% increases. What's driving that significant increase? And the follow-up, I see like 30% increases in metered sales for fixed commercial. What's driving that, getting that up to 16?
7.52 is actual expense increase without including the monthly reserve transfer, because as shown on the GL is as expense, but it's not expense, it's a transfer.
Okay.
And another one is the interest flow is not included, so that's expected actual operating costs.
So that's making the revenue look higher because, but it's offset, okay. Machine maintenance and building grounds maintenance are both doubling in 2026. Jay, can you expand on that?
Yeah, so there was discussions had, and we've last year removed a few capital items that were continuously put in the capital. It should have been an operating. There was 2 other projects, so Jane picked 2 accounts to move that over, but one is for, I guess we could have put in a new GL line. Well, one is the annual maintenance and testing that has to be done for the plant transformer, and that's required through our insurance providers.
Yeah.
And the other one was the annual pump station cleaning for the sewage stations. That is an annual expense. We do it every year, has to be done. And it was moved into, I believe, the machine maintenance one. So that's why those doubled, is they were both about 12,500 line items that were in capital that got shifted over as an operating expense to show true operating costs.
Is lab testing expense the same scenario?
Lab testing,
It's not-
we had rate increases,
Okay,
and we've also increased some of the frequency of our raw testing. So right now, we only do raw testing once a month. We've looked at it in the past, but try to keep things down. We need to start doing it more often. One, it helps us with operations, and 2, it also helps us with compliance. If something comes in, it gives us a better picture of what kind of sewage and what strengths of the sewage is coming in, rather than just once a month. A lot of plants do it weekly. The goal is to do it once a week. If we have to, we could, shift to a bi-weekly thing, but my recommendation is we start doing it weekly. So we have that constant information to go by if we have issues.
okay. Any other questions? So as it sits right now, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just one, and it's across the board, and I brought this up before, benefits. Like the numbers are, like the water, the benefits, it's like 55% increase, like 20% increase. It looks like all the departments, the benefits have gone way up, like 20%, Wondering if we can do a dive into that to see what's happened, because for many years we've been going along, and it seems like this year, things, I know, I talked to CAO Burns about it, and there has been some change on insurance and stuff like this, but that's a huge amount of cash to all of a sudden pop up. It's affecting all of our budgets.
Certain time. And before the budget, in the previous years for the salary and the wages budget is based on previous one and a lump sum. So as benefits is the package, just based on whatever the last year's 3.25% increase. This year, I kind of try to do some reconcile, make sure break down by individual employee and then break down by individual benefits, CPP, VI, insurance, everything. So after that one, we find some accounts posted and we kind of benefits and post with the wages. And then that's why we see the wages to drop down and the benefits to go up. But overall, it's still under control. Plus, there's 3 factors cause the benefits increase. One is insurance, that's a 50% increase, significant increase. And the second one, benefits, windshield, 17% increase. And plus our village benefits, the hospital, and the fitness claim, that's kind of like the trend is claiming. Some, before they, somebody they don't have the expense, but now they have and they come, so that's the three key driver. Kind of cost the shift between this and benefits, but overall it's still kind of a suit.
Thank you. That makes sense. Well, yeah, because, wages have dropped, yet we know that they're gonna go up, right? Like,
That's
okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Very helpful.
And I just have two more questions. So we've transferred a lot of things out of capital to operating. Has there been a reduction in capital to offset that, or?
Well, it's still the same funding as during the presentation I
Okay.
mentioned, we try to manage this transition with a seamlessly and without kind of cause any fluctuated tax levy and
Yep.
water rate. And then just for water, a little change there, but for operations, it's just use the same funding, it's just a casino contribution, so it won't affect the tax levy.
Okay, and in years past, we've done a transfer from the village to the water department to try and offset increases. Nothing's being transferred this year to help reduce the increase?
We kind of transfer the one, there's $150,000 transfer from casino to the water.
112.5, isn't it? I see 112.5 as a transfer.
But what's counted in the operating budget at this point,
I thought I saw that somewhere else, but I'm not seeing it in this spreadsheet.
yeah, on the operating budget, there is $150,000 transferred to the water department. That wasn't shown here, it's kind of pending a council approval, it's we'll kind of transfer to support water department.
So to maintain this 7.5% and 9.5% increase, we're transferring $150,000 of village taxpayer money to the water department,
It's the casino contribution.
the casino contribution. But there's also a casino contribution of 112.5. That's the payoff. Okay, so really we're transferring 265,000. And what did we transfer in the past? Do you know, Jane? Offhand?
It's 150. So last year, I remember, it's $150,000 transfer from the casino to water department.
Okay.
And this year is 150, no changes, but it wasn't included here, but plus interest and principal.
So why does it not show up in this?
Oh, well, it's depending, it's kind of we're saying, it is 150, council is, yes, it's there. So it's internal transfer, we're considering to support some, kind of urgent or, unexpected event, for that 150, that's why it wasn't included.
So if we didn't do that, the increase would be, is it a 10,000%?
In the water, 16,000, in the village at 32,000.
So it'd be a 10% hit to the tax.
Well, that's like, so if I understand right, you're showing 150 coming out of the village. On the village operating, we're showing 150 coming out, but we're not showing it coming in anywhere here.
But that's kind of, is a transfer to water's reserve. To his reserve account, it's not transferred to the operating, it's still kind of show as a revenue, but show as their.
So is it needed? Like, it's not driving down the tax, it's not driving down the increase because it's going to reserves. So if it was going into the operating, we'd have a negative increase. Yeah. And where did it go? Jim, you seem perplexed.
Yeah, I'm just, normally we would show that 150,000 coming in as a revenue, and then if we're making, if we're showing as an expense on the operating, village operating, it should show as a revenue on the water operating and then a contribution to the reserves, if that's what the intention is.
So we're just skipping that step this year, going straight to reserves, which doesn't affect either or. So I guess we're saving some steps.
Yeah, and we're contributing to the reserve that we're concerned about.
Right, yes, and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, any other questions then? So we have not made any changes to the budget as presented, so it sounds like council's okay with the 7.5 and 9.4 and the 71 cent per cubic meter increase to reserves. Is that the consensus?
The one thing we did discuss too coming out of this was if this was to live. And whether it'd be some verbiage to explain. I guess we've had some of it at the beginning, but to explain to taxpayers about the new storm.
Well,
Well,
we haven't even talked about it yet.
Okay.
That's the-
Okay.
It'll be after our
There'll also be discussion about where we are with water and where we sit against other municipalities.
But remember, last June, we did pass a motion that from 25 to 30 years, 2025 to 30, the minimum rate increase would be 5% a year. So, and that's reported to the ministry, so we have to at least still 5. So that's,
That was.
because we had some choices, say we
Yeah.
had 10, we had 5, we had 0. We chose the middle.
Okay, so we need a.
So I would,
Are we
in
doing
my-
it as one big budget?
I think we could come back to it. I mean, I think part of the reason for doing it all the same day is to. You know, we've discussed this, now let's discuss the village stuff. And especially with that 150,000, you may want to, you know, you may choose to. Contribute 25,000 of that to the operating budget, put 125 in reserves, thereby lowering rates a little bit. You know, I mean,
Towards that 5%.
yeah, towards,
We can't go lower than 5 based on commitment made.
so I don't think you
But
need.
we'll still vote on it separately.
I would, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
but I just
we'll
don't
do it
think
at
you
the end of the
need-
day.
Yeah,
In case we do some more.
that's kind of my thinking
Okay.
anyway.
And there's some, I follow that logic that if we were to take 25 of that 150, that would drop, 1.5 off the increase.
Off the water increase.
Roughly, increase.
Yeah, you'd still be making a sizable contribution to your reserve
Yeah,
of 125, and you'd be lowering the rates by about, you know, the water increases go down by about 2%, and the sewage rate
we
goes
should
down
put
by.
it just above 5.
By my understanding, this is kind of about the things for capital related projects. From my understanding, in the past.
Yes, yeah.
That we impose that on ourselves.
Yeah, there's not a,
It's not an edict from them.
No, nor municipal act or,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
Is what we made as a strategy
Yeah.
back in the day when it started.
yeah. So it's our wish,
Right.
but we can deviate from it
That's-
without any repercussion.
It's over
Yeah.
20 years.
and
ago.
I'm not even suggesting we do that. I'm just
Yeah.
suggesting we don't need to make any.
No, you're using
Final
it more as an
decision.
example of why we should wait to approve this
Yeah.
budget at the end of the day.
Yeah, you might want to adjust something.
Yep, thank you and best of luck, Tim.
Now we can go on to the village.
Sorry. Okay, now we're moving on to.
Yep.
Alexander and Bayview storm stations.
Let's see.
You thought you were done? Hey, man.
And this is,
So starting with capital, and we,
So, thank you.
do you want to take 5? At this point?
I'm really dry. This is a area that's going
We've
on.
been at it for an hour and a half, so.
Five, break 5. Chair, is that okay?
yep, I'm,
They're dropping like flies.
yeah.
I'm not sure how to pause the microphone, so just You aware the microphones are on?
Your volume down.
Watch it. Oh.
Main, just go to 0. And just bring it up to that middle point.
Okay.
Just remember to put it back on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was able to speak, he can reboot the system, but we'll lose. We'll have to restart the meeting, so.
I'm on my hotspot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, not today.
Appreciate that.
Good to Easton at the game of the night, Saturday night, had a night off night, or?
You played earlier today.
Oh, that's
Normal.
He brought us some luck, it was 2-1.
Yeah.
We're on.
He said.
Yeah, we're actually, they're coming together a bit, so.
Like all our associations we get. Tryouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only ever, you know, over the years.
You go from sitting on the couch gaming to playing hockey, yeah, where, yeah, you're right, others have done their tryouts and they're like.
Checking on it.
It's.
Did you get a water pitcher?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna come, I'm gonna need a.
Join the lineup.
Oh my, well. They're numbered. So we're not.
Mr. Wendell. Yeah. They're, pretty super, right? Yeah, they're big and. Typical regular trades. So these. They have,
Oh,
Is it still hot? Ish. Ish. Not really.
yeah,
You got it. St. Clair Conservation will get.
The city was paving.
but we have. a-
Oh, are they good?
Also donations,
Get there.
so when we do our.
I went home
Yes.
last quarter
We
to
show them
6
what we've used.
and they're paving Modeland Road.
I always understood.
Like,
We made it
pitch dark,
policy ourselves.
full traffic, and they're paving the road. I'm like, I would not want to be doing that job.
The arena at 3, 4 in the afternoon. On the horn,
Yeah.
honks, backups.
It's like saying they're gonna.
Figured they must have started.
Yeah, that would just be,
It was just, I was waiting for the crunch
yeah.
because the transport trucks are.
Absolutely.
Well,
In the gym, they're paving machine out.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah.
And I went by there, they were just up by,
Yeah.
I wondered, I could see the lights when I dropped Kate off at school and I came around, I was wondering if they were moving that way.
yeah, I always come right up to that corner and over.
Oh, they're paving. I was down
Paving
there.
this morning.
They were paving when I was by there at 8.
Mhm.
Cause you could see all the flashing lights, so I deliberately went that way. And they're
But
paving.
they weren't at the other end that.
I would deliberately go a
I
different.
talked to Glenn Hamel last week.
Oh, no, I'm nosy.
If he said he's been pushing and pushing,
Oh,
that's gotta be on, that's
like,
gotta be on.
you did you, I should have shared my story. Last week, county council, Mike Dennis, Dennis got up and made this comment, discussion aimed at Jason about this project on Michigan Ave, and it's behind schedule, and could he explain why and everything, and Jason looked at it and said, Counselor Dennis, I just wanted to let you know, that's a 70 project. It is a county road, but because they were doing all the underneath
Yeah.
infrastructure, it's a city project.
Yeah.
And he said, you might
You might want.
want to follow up with your
Thank you.
own eyes. And then like, we'll pay at the end, and then they get charged back.
They get charged back.
Yeah,
Things.
but it was, we were all
I think
going.
you need to do
That
a
is
debrief
It was about that.
afterwards, just to.
And Jason said.
That was a nice day.
He said, by the way, I heard. we're gonna take that." But it was your. Everybody loved it.
Really?
Oh, my God.
You know, I
How many times the car gone?
Yes.
Yeah, he had,
Coffee everywhere.
rebuttal about this lawsuit and.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Oh, and then,
I do like their sales.
yes.
Once in a blue moon, at the pickle.
I am.
That's the way.
All right, we'll call their meeting to order again, please.
Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning, I just read that this morning.
That's just everything for later.
Hmm.
So you have it.
Sorry, Beth.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. We're just gonna focus on capital for storm is what we're doing right now. Okay. So we have Alex Pump Inspect, we'll wait for Jay, I guess.
We can
Okay,
skip to IT, so if you wish.
okay, yeah.
So IT upgrades. There's two accounts for IT stuff for the village. There's one in capital, one in operating, so. We have a bit of difficulty with our billing from Keystone and determining what's, like, we have a monthly contract with them. We seem to have a problem with billing to know where to charge it to, so we've just kind of combined everything. We're confident they're not billing us for things they shouldn't be, but it's just we kind of group it all together. So that's the only capital item for the municipal office.
And what are you getting for this $70,000?
So it includes software, hardware, service, everything that,
This is leaving Keystone or
no,
just?
no, it's staying with, it's our monthly fee with them is just short of just over 4,000. So, I mean, just the monthly service fee is 50,000 a year.
So
There's no special projects.
this will be an additional
Proposed.
70,000 over the
No.
50? This,
No,
we go from 50 to 70.
so yeah, from 50 to 70.
You said we're already paying 50,000 a year.
No.
Oh,
So we pay 50,000 for that portion, but then there's other things they do for us too, right?
okay.
If we get a new computer, there's costs of setting up the computer and there's, yeah, the out of the ordinary support.
Okay.
And then there's also, if we do need it's the cost of the computer itself as well.
Any questions?
I may have missed it, but, and did you ask about this, the managed detection and response system?
The
It's for
managed,
the licensing for that? As well, like what is? I'm assuming that's something that we already have, right? And it's just been a license. Further license, so that's the 5 years, or is this something new that we need for cybersecurity?
it's definitely something they're recommending. And just off the top of my head, I think it's new. Just trying to find it here. No. Yeah, it's new.
So do you have any idea what that really is? For the layperson?
It's cybersecurity.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure it is.
You don't need to know all this, so it is cybersecurity? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on IT upgrades? Okay. So Jay's back in the house, so we will go back to the capital for Bayview. The first item is the Alex Pump Station. I assume that's Alexandra.
Yep.
Looking for $12,500. This is just inspection and analysis.
That's an annual thing that has to be done, right? Correct, Jason?
Yes, sorry, Mr. Chairman, yes. Chief. Sorry, you're at,
Alexandra Pump
Intense
Inspection.
there? Yeah, so that is a project to have a company come in and do inspections on the vertical turbine pumps in the pump station. And they'll do the vibration analysis and everything with that. The pumps have been in for quite a few years. They haven't had a major inspection, so I want to get them on get a major inspection done, get the vibration analysis and start having them come in on a regular basis, so that we can monitor for preventative maintenance, we'll be able to monitor. You know, the condition of the pumps instead of planning out. They are getting to a point where sooner or later, we're gonna have to do a rebuild on them. So by seeing the vibration analysis, since we'll be able to track the condition of the pump and start planning as part of the, you know, a 5-year plan. This is how we're gonna get this done.
And is the Bayview line item the same?
Bayview would be exactly the same. It's a little bit less because the pump configuration is slightly different there. There's 3 pumps there. They're larger pumps, but yeah, it's the identical project and for both different stations.
Okay. Any questions on either one of those? Okay, the next one would be the catch basin sinkhole, $50,000.
This has been an annual line item for the village, so we do all any sinkholes, any catch basin repairs, replacements that need to be done in the village. This was actually one of the items that I had was looking at trying to put over to an operating expense. This is something that we do every year. A lot of years we spend the full amount, there have been years we've maybe not spent the full amount, but there's been other years where we've spent a significant amount. You know, when the catch basin fails and there's a sinkhole, we don't have an option of fixing it or not fixing it, so. But between the treasurer and the CEO and myself, it was decided to leave it in for at least another year or two, and we're gonna look at some other options and possibly moving it over. But for now, it was decided best just to leave it in the capital.
Any questions on that?
This is a comment, so like, you keep moving things, I know what's happening with moving things out of capital that don't really fit there, but. Capital gets the benefit of the casino money, so we can't keep shifting everything to operating without doing something to counter. At that, it's just a comment.
Yep.
Like anything capital gets the benefit of the casino money, we keep pulling stuff out of capital to operating, it makes it more difficult.
So it really depends, it's a small amount, you know, to do
Okay.
things like this, big ones still need capital, but we
Yeah.
have the, criteria and
Okay.
what's kind of, stuff, you know, moved to.
Yeah,
operating.
okay,
So it was,
it just seems like a lot.
Storm sewer camera is 20,000.
Yeah, so this is to start a camera, like a camera program for the village storm system, so all the pipes in the ground. What we talked about in the past meeting was start a program where every year we'll have a company come in and they'll do camera work. So they'll do the flushing and they'll do the camera work, so we can start monitoring, tracking the condition of the pipes in the ground. So it's basically for asset management planning, so we can start actually having the data to plan for future projects and prove that we are, you know, monitoring our system and we know the condition of our system. So the $20,000 isn't anywhere near enough to do the whole village, so the idea was this would be, you know, an annual thing where they would do as much as they could for the $20,000, and then it would go on for multiple years. So the idea is to try to have every section of the village approximately every 5 years, maybe every 7, camera inspecting, have a report, and then that information will eventually be uploaded into an asset management software or database, so we can track it and better plan for future work.
Just a question, so when you're doing like this camera work, so that's all getting loaded into the software program?
We don't really have the software problem. We do,
You know.
we did get a quote, we were dealing with a company, and they actually have a software program for asset management. And they work very closely with Watson's and Associates, with the asset management side of it. Unfortunately, trying to work out the details and the added cost of it. It's not in any of the budget for 2026. Mike and I had a couple discussions about maybe some other ways we could fund it, but it might have to be shifted or put off another year, but it is, this would build into that software once we get that type of software.
I was thinking about the program, the name's escaping me. I was thinking about the program that we use for
Mesh.
Mesh, thank you. Does it go into Mesh to track?
Yes, as Jay has mentioned, that the mesh doesn't provide that type of detail
Okay,
to be able to have that historical data. It's more of a use on
Okay.
site to be able to track existing. It doesn't have that, the capability for that larger asset.
yeah, I was
to be
thinking
able
like
to pull in.
SAP and
Right,
you can keep it. and track it.
that's why we're looking to transition to another software that has both those capabilities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on that? Not in that list, but Alexander Fiber Optics is. And Bayview Fiber Optics,
That's a carryover.
oh, carryover,
From,
okay,
those are carryovers, so the money's already
okay,
been set
yeah,
aside.
I see that now, yeah, never mind. Okay, the rest, everything else is carryover, so any questions on the carryovers? No? Oh, Councilor Mondo?
Yeah, just on the generator for Bayview, so we're hoping to get grant money for that.
That yes, that generator is in the application for the grant.
Okay,
So-
so that money would then, based on what it says here, go into reserve.
That's
And we pay
the,
for it and then, okay. That's good, build a reserve.
So,
And isn't Helena the same way?
all three, so Helena, Venetian and Bayview were all included in that grant.
Yeah.
As I said, we will find out probably till January, February, if we get approved for the grant. We have no idea what kind of returns that grant may give, so all three of them were added. And then we just have to basically wait and see if we're successful in that.
just for anybody that doesn't know, the grant was submitted in June. And they said it could be up to 6 months or more
Yeah, we're
before,
expecting January, February.
before we would be knowing the results. So it's waiting.
Okay. So we're all good with that capital plan that Jay's presented? Jane, I mean, sorry.
Mhm.
J.
JJ,
Okay. So we touched on the IT upgrades for this office. We'll now move on to donations. Is that where we're headed? Yep.
So, Duncan helped me prepare this summary. Kind of a description of what they're using the funds for. How much they requested this year, what the staff recommendation is to give, and then what they got in the previous year. There are 2 new requests, I think both under, the literacy Lambton and oh, yeah, so
Service Club,
the service club was new as well, and then St. Clair Child and Youth have done thing, we've worked with them in the past on certain things. They got nothing last year. They didn't request anything last year, so.
Before we jump into it, the Rib Fest, did we not deny them last year?
so the history on that one is we did deny them and the gentleman called up quite upset, felt that, we gave them short shift.
Yes.
And they had counted on that funding, so we did our budget in in March,
Yeah.
and the Red Fest was maybe
June,
June,
Father's Day.
when he realized that he wasn't getting anything. So I gave him
1,500.
1,500 out of the mayor's account because he said that was critical to,
Well,
Or-
the advertising had already been prepared,
Okay.
Yeah.
advertising the
I
as a
and I was
sponsor.
worried about that, given.
we were on promotions because,
Yeah.
and I never thought about when we did it. It's short timing,
Yeah.
like it's different if you were doing it now, but he said that we blindsided him,
Okay.
so we gave it out of that
That's
other
fair,
account.
yeah. We want to step through each one of these and put forward recommendations, and the staff recommendations, that's your recommendation, Jim?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Bridgeview School, any staff recommendations? 10, they've requested 15, any comment?
I'd like to bump them up to 12. Like kind of being closer to half, but they do a lot with that money for kids that live in the village and attend school there. I'd like to see us be a bit higher for them.
Anybody agree?
I also-
You're not declaring on this, right?
We decided last year that I wouldn't.
Okay, fair enough, perfect, yep,
I do have a comment
Yep.
about that. the use that they're outlining in their application, they're all very proactive and long-term planning type of goals. They're not just filling gaps, the school lunch program or the snack program is directly tied to well-being during the school day, which matters greatly for the children of the village. And the school garden initiative and STEM expansion show that they're planning long-term. They're not just looking to spend the money on whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're looking to invest in
Not
the
really.
children of the village. They also put quite a lot of effort into fundraising last year, and I'm sure they continue to do such. But it also shows that there are gaps in what they're able to accomplish, and I agree with all. But I would like to see that.
Bare hand?
Thinking of the 12, they specifically were asking for $2,000 for graduation. So if you went to 12, you can say the 2,000 is graduation and the 10,000 is the project.
Sure.
You're just thinking it through.
In the past, in my experience, that graduation fund was taken out of the donation anyhow, so at least when I was involved.
Right, if you increase it, you're covering it.
Yeah.
I did have a question on the breakfast program, because last year with the fire department and through the office, we went and purchased a lot of breakfast food because they said they were out of it. So don't know if they're running the program right now. We found out accidentally through a parent, not through the school, that they needed help. So I don't know what the state is this year with that program. The breakfast?
I don't have an update on that,
Okay.
but I do know it was a parent-led initiative.
Oh, okay. Okay, because we never heard anything this year. And I wondered how they were doing and what was happening.
Is there not an upper level grant for that? Is there not something about federal or provincial?
I think it's a discussion.
Program, I thought they settled on that, maybe not.
I thought it was in one of the bills,
Yeah.
like current bills that's under
I'm just
discussion.
saying, there may be some funding coming. Cause I know at one time there was, I understood, and then it was canceled or something. Are they off the road or whatever?
And I guess the only thing we have to keep in mind is the schools are run by the province and a different board, and how much do we fund? But I think we have a unique and very special school, and it reflects on our community. So supporting it the way we do, I think is good, but we just have to be cautious. We're not taking over what the school trustees and the school
Right.
board should be doing, should be providing to schools, but I get where we're at.
Yeah, we were always focused on things like the Gagapet and
Yeah.
the outdoor learning center that I know at my grandkids' school, they had to fundraise to do those things
Yeah.
too, because the board doesn't cover it.
Okay, so consensus to go to 12,000, is that?
Would it be just on that, would it be beneficial to get a trustee in here to talk to council just about basically their role in the education system, although it looks like it could be changing?
Yes, yeah.
And also just so that we're well aware of what is out there based on going on.
It's something we can, wait, Marion.
No, I'll wait and say
Okay.
later, like when we get done this,
All
I
right.
think.
The ex-servicemen's club are looking for $10,000 for food for 2 parties to celebrate their anniversary. Is that the correct summary?
Nope.
Okay, any comments?
I'm okay with the staff recommendations.
I'm assuming that they might charge for tickets
You would think so.
for the food events.
Yes.
I would,
So if that's the case, then 8,000 should be supplemental, like they buy the food and then they charge the tickets, so we're supporting their 150th,
hundreds, but
100, sorry. They're not as old as us. I don't know,
Any change, so staff recommending 8,
Sure. I'm okay with that.
okay?
sorry, just back up for a second, because I had another thought. We're also spending a little bit of money
On the Senate half.
on the Senate
Yeah.
half, and that was deliberate, like including the new cement
Yep.
pad and everything, refurbish the valve, that was in support of their anniversary.
Yep.
So we have supported them through those initiatives.
Yep.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay, St. Clair Child and Youth. Okay. They're asking for 10, staff have recommended, is that a 5?
Go ahead.
Okay. I would be okay with, not granting a donation this year.
We didn't give them anything last year,
Yeah.
but just for history, and I'd have to go back. I don't remember what they wanted it for. Previously, when they submitted, they asked for a lump sum and they just said projects.
Yes,
And we said, that's not enough. That's what we need to specifically see projects. So at that time, what I remember last time they gave a list of 3 projects and we picked one.
Yeah.
So this time it came in originally without all the paperwork, I think, saying lump sum.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, we already went through this, we need more specifics. So if this is broken down, is there one of the projects that we could support?
I think in their application, it just talks about, just making
Yeah.
themselves more accessible
Yeah.
and bridging the
No
gap.
specific
Yeah,
project
and-
mentioned here.
Yeah,
We wanted it to be a program and we funded a program.
yes, and something that we could like put our name on.
Yeah,
I know when I've talked to different charities about making applications, they said it really helps specify exactly what you want the money for, and it really helps us to make the decision.
and it's the same leader is there as when
Yep.
Mr. McKenzie
Yeah.
is what we went through the last time, so I was disappointed the way that it wasn't specific.
Yep.
Unless you want to follow up and ask if they have something they can show us.
I
Like,
think they've been given that opportunity.
yeah,
So
okay,
So are we okay with denying it, or do you want to give them, throw them a bone? or-
Denying it.
Okay. Okay, so.
Okay.
Next, okay, thanks, Ariana, you can come back. Pathways Secret Santa,
Okay.
yeah, status quo.
yeah, I went
Um,
there.
Lambton Farm Safety, $200. Let's move that along. The Plowman's Association, 500. Leave that. Jim, can you scroll down a bit? Thank
Yep.
you. Age Friendly Sarnia Lambton.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's an awesome
That's
event in our
basically,
arena.
we cover their rental
Yeah.
of the arena.
Yeah.
And did we work out our issues as far as how it was laid out
Well,
and everything?
they
that
will.
was Discussed.
And when they do the layout for next year,
Okay,
they'll
Yeah,
raise
I
their
just-
concerns.
all right, good.
Pima, I've asked for 22.5, same as last year. Staff are recommending 20.
I want to give them the same that they got last year. I
I-
think they're still incurring a lot of expenses with the transition. And they're running in a lot of programs such as the mental health and what's up,
Yeah.
something about blood. It's the blood one.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, it's.
Oh, there was Stop the Bleed.
Stop the
We
Bleed.
did specialized training this year on Stop the Bleed.
It's about blood, so.
And I think we have to keep in mind too that there is a recommendation to raise our ice rates this year.
Yeah.
And they are one of our biggest customers.
So basically, we're funding their increase.
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah.
flat with last
Yeah.
year, yeah.
And we've saved money up above, so I would support
Is there a third
meeting the
person?
request.
I also support that. I appreciate how transparent they've been about the increases around gate fees and not and taking it on themselves to absorb those costs instead of passing them on to the families in the community. I think we can help them out a little bit.
Another initiative they took on, I just know because my grandson's playing now, is they do the meat raffles, like, is it every other week?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work in conjunction with the service club, the Optimist Club. But what they're doing is the parents that don't come and work the meat raffles pay a price. So if you pay your 200 or whatever, you work the meat raffle, your name gets struck as you're paying your commitment. So they're working hard to make it fair to everybody.
Yeah, I think they're not coming to us with their handout. They're coming to us with a lot of work at the back end, raise
Yeah.
money, and we're just help them.
Yeah.
Paul, are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. With 22.5, Jim?
Okay.
Blue Water Anglers,
I'm okay with what they've asked for. Like, we agreed to the prize money on one of their events last year, so they got,
7,500.
yeah.
And five. for
And
the-
then that other,
Because they added the two.
the other June, I think it's June.
Well, the prize, they moved the prize amount from 5,000 to 7,500
Yeah.
and then asked us to continue to sponsor. It was a huge
Yeah.
increase and to me, it seems like a lot of money to catch a fish.
Now,
Um,
this is Matt money on this side, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're volunteer run.
Yeah.
They do a lot of good
They
work.
bring,
They bring a lot of people
Big-
into the community.
good promotion for
Yeah.
our community and
Yeah.
they're really appreciative. Like I've gone for the last several years to give out the check and like there's always praising the village and well, so they do appreciate it.
Yeah. And the hatchery is located in our
Yes,
community, so
yeah.
it's Grand Fondo, 3 and 3.
They bring people in.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great event.
Just to note too, that, Four Seasons was the main hotel for the program last year. I think they were sold out. And they will be again this year, so we benefit from that event on the Mat Tech side.
Junior B lacrosse, last year was the first year we'd given them any money. We gave them 2,500. It was sort of, I think it was initiated at the council level, like, or suggested to them that they apply
Like a
and
late one.
yeah, it was a late one. And then now they're asking for 5. Staff are recommending 3.
I would think 3, but that's I mean, that's an increase over what we gave last year to go to 3.
Is this like a program ad type deal, a sponsorship? I'm always curious,
Yeah.
like what we're putting it into.
I know they had our name on their shirts and our name.
Don't do programs anymore per se, but you know,
Yeah.
something along that.
I think they do a player program. Yeah, I think they do. We're in it. Do you know how much we generate? Oh, you probably don't like, but on the floor rental for the summer related to lacrosse?
Offhand, I didn't know. I don't know.
That's another point. They spend their money on our floor rentals,
Yep.
which are going up.
I'm okay with 3.
Okay, 3,000 it is. Rib Fest,
I'm supporting the 1,500 that we gave last
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
Keep the same.
the Santa Claus Parade,
Same.
2,500.
Yeah.
Literacy Lambton. So they're saying an 8-week program in Point Edward. Like, is this actually physically be located in Point Edward?
It's through the libraries.
Okay, but all the libraries, or is it just our library, or do they just say Point Edward to try and get us to,
No,
because it's current cost of the venue rental is what it says. So they wouldn't be renting the library, would they?
Think so. I also don't know that the library would be big enough to,
maybe they go to the Sarnia, to the auditorium.
Doesn't a county already run things like this?
This is a new program.
Yeah, this is good.
But Lamping County Libraries has their own thing. I don't
Yeah.
understand how this is unique.
Because it's just like, it's a new program for a certain number of weeks. It's an initiative.
This is an 8-week children's program site in Point Edward for spring
Train your brain.
2026.
Train Your Brain makes me think of seniors program.
Yeah.
No, where you're trying to strengthen, you know, your
Well, it is,
memory
it
and
does say it's for adults 18 plus.
Literacy Lambton does do programs for 18 plus.
Yeah.
The Train Your Brain program is for grades 3.
Oh, yeah, grade 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And
I support it as an initiative that covers.
they're
Children and
kind of
adults.
just getting rolling
Yeah.
on their programs. I know I've dealt with them with other organizations and had them come and speak, and they've got a lot of good programs like Rescuers Give a Book.
Yeah, that was
This kind of
mentioned
stuff.
above,
It's all
and
in
then,
here, and I think it's a very worthwhile program.
And just to answer your question from before, they're offering it in 9 different locations, but ours is Women's, which was spring.
okay,
Whenever.
so,
And do we know the Point Edward location?
I'm assuming the library, but I don't.
Be the
Some
hall.
of those programs are often offered at the library. They don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect a group bigger than would fit in that.
Yeah.
no,
area.
I went and did the reading program last month.
Mhm.
I probably actually was quite surprised. I think I had 10 or 12 kids, but I never had that many the year before, but they were quite young. Like 2 and 3, little ones, yeah. For that toddler time,
Okay,
That one's ahead of them.
Yeah, yeah.
so $2,000 contribution, you guys are all
It's,
2,500?
2,500,
500, okay, yeah.
and again, it's not.
Okay, slow roll. I'm having a challenge that it costs us $1,500 to have two OPP officers ride their bike with us. It's because last year there were no cruisers, just two OPP officers riding their bikes. It's a lot of money.
Well, again, a lot of it comes through the village.
Yep.
And last year they called, you know what happened? They almost canceled because one of their funders pulled out.
Yeah.
With short notice. And they asked for some money to cover the OPP costs. And, so they could like continue to have the program.
So
And
this
then-
year it started and ended at the Legion. Do we know if that's their plan this year as well?
I don't know, the year before we had ended up at the brewery. Well,
That was
after-
because of construction. I think this year they had to alter.
Yeah, well, we did go a really weird route through some southern Sarnia. It's a
Yeah.
Really strange route. But anyway, I like the program because it's a prelude.
Yep.
To Grand Bondo too. It's another one of their
Which
programs.
we benefit from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it ties in.
Okay, and the last one is Celebration of Lights. They're asking for 8. We gave them 6,500 previous years.
Okay with the 65.
I'm okay with 65.
Me too.
Yeah, that's a good number.
So what did we remove? We removed 10
We
grand over?
saved 500. We removed 5,000 from St. Clair Child and Youth.
Yeah.
We added 2,000 to Bridgeview and added 2,500 to Pima
Okay,
from the recommendation.
the recommendation was 77.4, so we're obviously at 76.9.
6,9. Yeah.
So that's a significant increase over last year. We're all good with that.
But last year, I think we were over budget. On some stuff. On the last expense, so. I don't know why, but.
So there was something, I recall, there was an unbudgeted in one of the two areas.
I think it was on the, not on the donation side, it was on the donations, not the sponsorship. From what I remember.
I don't understand where that would be.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't remember anybody stepping forward except.
Wasn't one of them late? Like, there's gotta be something.
So we've got $500 extra here. I would just recommend leaving the budget alone and leaving that 500 there if we don't spend it at the end of the year. Like if somebody comes in and wants us to sponsor something, we could, it's
Well-
$500 there to do it.
Can you sponsor my,
And if we don't spend it,
sponsor my vote?
My vote. it's a great vote. You know, like, just here's one, like, a couple of years ago, we gave money to Northern had their 10-year plan to buy a new bus. And they got a new bus last week and they sent us a thank you. So somewhere along the line, we've given some money. So those are the ones that come in,
I remember that one.
yeah, off cuff, like, and I think we gave 300 or something, but they thanked us for it.
Finally got the bus.
They got the bus. It's a nice looking little
Asking for
bus.
1 year for
Yeah.
donations.
Yeah,
like cutting $500 out of the capital budget isn't gonna do us any
No.
real good. So I would say just
Yeah.
leave it there for, it won't get spent without
and
some
then.
approval.
And then they
councils.
asked us for money for the volleyball tournament that's coming to Sarnia. Or basketball
Yeah, it was last weekend.
last weekend.
Okay, so donations are agreed upon and we'll move forward with that. The next item is capital for the operations, so we'll invite, sorry,
Fire first,
we'll fire first, I'm sorry.
at least.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He's in the list. We have-
So, capital I can hang out on.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Yeah, it's just gonna get like white pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like the one this year.
Anything that's personal pay?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay, so before we get into fire, just at our appreciation night, we acknowledged Chief Mackenzie's 45 years of service to this community, so I want to do it again officially, even though it's this group, so thank you for your 45 years with us, and
Gave him his plaque and his gift on Monday.
right on.
So we just had a few people that were
Yeah.
able to congratulate him.
All right, so we'll walk through these items then. We have a portable pump for 6,500, a pickup truck for 100, bunker gear for 18,500, computer upgrades for 6,000.
So I'm not, you've got we've got updated numbers. If we just, like that list that's at the top, if we just work through it,
Okay.
I think is probably the best way to,
Right.
Like this one?
yeah,
You want
but
this?
it's not.
I got her. Okay,
Lift anyone?
Mhm.
So the office equipment is a replacement computer and just general, just other things that may come up through the year. They had money budgeted in 2024 that was for office equipment, and there was a council direction to use that to put new flooring in the 2 offices, so that was done in the last couple of weeks. But this is just generally, we're planning on needing a new computer in the department, and then just general money there. Bunker gear and equipment, and Doug, you can do this if you want, or
Yeah, bunker gear and equipment, I mean, they just got combined. There used to be 2 accounts. So that's just a 10-year replacement of all PPE for the department. So that's everything from bunker gear, boots, helmets, gloves. So they just been combined together.
air packs.
And the air packs, I'm sitting at right now is 135 for the replacement. Still negotiating with them a little bit more and. What's that? Okay. Yeah, so just do that replacement. They're at their ended life for sure. They still can be used right now, but we're taking parts, so we're getting nickel. The models have a big problem there, and they're all finished.
So just to be clear on this one, we put $185,000 aside last year,
Yes.
and this 135 is the additional. The gentlemen have gotten at least 2 quotes, and this is the additional funds required to make that purchase this
so
year.
this will allow us to move forward with the full replacement, and it will be done in 26.
Yeah.
And what will happen with the old equipment?
We'll keep some of them for training.
Yeah.
So that our hardest thing on those packs is the carbon fiber models, so when we do it in training, they get beat up pretty bad, so then we have to stop using them for training. Not that they failed or anything, but we'll probably keep at least a half a dozen packs that they can use for training, which will still be fine for that. And then they'll give us a trade-in value, which is part of that price too. So once we get to the final, it's funny how it went about when we talked to the different distributors of providing us prices. The numbers just keep on coming in. So it could be even better yet coming.
But we will see this goal is to complete this in 26.
Yes, yes.
The problem is the air balls have a life expectancy.
Yeah.
And once they hit that, you can't recertify.
Right, yeah.
So at that point, they're being salvaged again.
Right. And you can't even send those to like, I know there's that Global Medic that sends old stuff offshore.
Unfortunately.
Okay,
Now, the packs themselves could maybe go that route, but unfortunately, the packs, they're not supporting them any longer.
Right.
Any parts to repair them are left in the system. Other than that, they're not manufacturing new parts to repair them.
all right. Do we have a pickup truck?
Yep, pickup trucks for 100,000. We complete with the lighting package. That's replaced the truck that we're going currently. And
Portable pump for the
portable pump is
marine?
just for Our pump that we have right now, our portable pump for the marina, or anything that we can't get our, hydrant supply.
Yeah.
It's old, and it's fine right now, but, the marina is one of our high risk areas, so. Another pump, I think would be beneficial for all that area, or Bridgeview or Exmouth or anything like that.
Just getting back
Yep.
to the truck, in here it says you could move the discussion about, because I asked at the last meeting about it. Was it gonna be traded, or looks like it could possibly be used in another department, so do we have a plan on where the old truck's going at this point?
Right now, we just small discussions, but we talked about putting it into public works. And they could use the truck. I mean, the truck's not gonna fail tomorrow, it's not that, it's just a first responding unit,
Yeah.
and we put it off, so. The truck will still get lots of miles on it, I believe, anyways.
I'm just looking at, if there's a trade in
Yeah.
or whatever, because, it gets that $100,000
Yeah.
number down a little bit,
I
but.
think it's just an option, Tim, that we can, either way, it might be beneficial for public works or for everybody else, or it might be beneficial to knock it down for what we'll give you.
Okay, I just
The
thought-
problem with the trade though is when you remove all the lights and stickers and all the stuff in the cab, you have a lot of holes in it, and that would affect the trading value, would it not?
Yeah, I'm quite sure they wouldn't get the big money for the truck, that's for sure.
Now, we are spending 220 on the last pumper payment. Like, is there any appetite to delay this one more year until that gets paid off, or are we okay with keeping the 100 grand in for this year?
I think we get the money and put it in the bank. Put it in reserve and we have it,
Which money's that?
like, have the reserve ready for the truck.
Vicky means, do you want to not
Delay
buy
that?
the truck?
Like the pickup truck?
Oh, the pickup,
Yeah.
okay.
Like, we're spending
Yeah.
220 this year to finalize the engine. Is this the year to buy another truck, or do we wait one more year and then that's all done?
What are your thoughts on waiting another?
Well, like I said, the truck's not gonna fail tomorrow, it's not rotting, nothing like that. It's just, we're just putting it off, that's all. I mean, it's not gonna be, not the end of the road, it's a truck, so it's like.
It's just if you get a situation where you're gonna be paying for the truck. The engine and. paying for the truck at the same time.
Yeah, for this year. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, if we waited a year, then the engine will be totally paid off. And then we buy another truck.
The only question I have is, you had a truck for works on your list,
Correct,
and you were gonna take it off
yes.
if we got that truck. So if we cancel the fire truck, the truck driving, regular truck. What happens?
So pick-
The pickup, what happens to you?
Again, much like Chief said, the truck in Public Works is 2013, according to our asset management, we're far beyond the lifespan. There will be no value or trade in for that particular vehicle. We've had to spend quite a bit of money on it this year to maintain it. I just see that sort of further down the road, we will continue to spend more and more on that particular vehicle. If we were able to get something in 3 years younger, that would certainly benefit us, but again, if it was a necessity. It would be something we could certainly look at holding off for the year, but it's just, I think, like council understand that we're getting to the point with a lot of these vehicles, buildings that we have to be very cautious in continuing to defer.
And not
You see you're
to,
spending a lot on maintenance. What is a lot on maintenance?
So this year on that particular vehicle, we spent about $4,000 between, we had to do some rad repairs, we had to do some engine repairs. So there's with a vehicle of that age, where you start to understand the vehicle actual depreciation value versus how much you're spending into it, and we're coming to that precipice where you're gonna spend more than the vehicle's worth in repairing.
so it's like a new truck now.
Well, yeah, you've invested that amount to
And-
get it through a year.
And I don't want to jump ahead, but did you not just take delivery of a new truck this month?
That's correct. That
Okay.
was the truck from the previous year.
Right.
That's right.
So we do have a brand
We
new,
do, yes, we do.
brand new truck in your department, so
Yes.
that it may allow us to delay both these trucks. You know, so anyways, yeah.
What is the lifespan? You said it's getting over that.
So according to our asset management details, 6 to 7 years is the viable time to be able to purchase a new vehicle while getting the most out of the returning the other vehicle in terms of the trade. Anything beyond that point, it becomes, there's a specific, I don't know the depreciation value offhand, but you lose value every year beyond that point. Once you get beyond 13 years, there's almost no value to trading that vehicle. So
But
What's the age of the Chiefs truck? What year is that?
It's in
16.
But it's also tied to mileage too, right? The years is one factor.
Yeah.
In this village, we don't put a lot of miles on our vehicles. But
No,
it can also be a negative, I get that, right? An old vehicle with low mileage isn't really a win, but
Correct. I know in the terms of the public works vehicle, that there is some rust issues that we've had to deal with as well in terms of frame rot and such. That another concern when you're using public works vehicles for salt and driving around in the winter time, that's more of a concern. As I understand as well.
But we also maintain our vehicles more than, say, somebody's personal vehicles in some cases. So they can get that extra time out of them.
okay, so is there a direction here from anybody on?
So I got a question on the Chiefs vehicle, is it, do you put it in for an inspection every year, like?
Like a
Like a-
safety
like a
cam or
safety-
something? No,
yeah.
no,
No, okay.
no, just the responding trucks for the engine, ladder and rescue truck.
Okay.
No,
Now-
it does not have to have any inspection.
Okay, so now Public Works, are we,
We do.
We do?
We do inspect all of our vehicles.
okay, should we be implementing that maybe for your vehicles as well? I don't know.
Personally, I mean, we take care of our stuff.
Yeah.
Everything's maintained, everything's serviced when it's supposed to be.
Okay.
They look like they're brand new.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that gets missed with us, so. I mean, I wouldn't, but that's up to the council.
So do we need a motion or we just a recommendation to defer new pickup truck purchase to 2027 for fire department and the
This would be the
secondary.
second deferral, right? So
Right.
we're at some point, we're gonna have to bite the bullet, right?
Exactly, but we're also paying for a fire truck.
I'm well aware.
And I think what we have to keep in mind is we did sort of replace it with the Unit 5, but it didn't work out, right?
Oh, it didn't work out, we just tried to make it to beneficial that we
Right.
were.
And that was during
It's all
COVID.
because of these light packages and everything that
Yeah.
you put on the truck,
Yeah.
so. How can we do this, that'd be the best way to
Yeah.
spend the money,
Yeah.
that's why we did it the way we
Okay,
did.
so the mayor's made a recommendation. And is there consensus then?
Sure.
Okay, you got that, Jane? We're gonna delay the fire department pickup truck till 27 and make sure it's in the budget for that. If we weren't making the final payment on the pumper, I'd be all over this.
Yeah. I passed you an article, I can't remember who got the new truck. Tecumseh. It was a 4-year delivery. Where are we at now?
We'll be
Almost.
delivering the truck in 2027.
But from when the date of order, they'll be,
I'll be close to well, by the time when we first started, this was almost 5 years, but 4 years in total, probably, or they, got the truck. That's not even a guarantee for sure yet, really.
well, it didn't say where the truck came from. I was
Yeah.
curious, but
But that was not,
it was a rescue truck.
well, no, that was not an engine, that was a aerial.
Yeah, it was an area.
2.5 million.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Double.
Yeah.
Double the cost, right?
But they said it was 4
It's
years.
100 footer or something, it's a big unit.
Okay, so fire capital, we're good, thank you.
You have to do, all in favor when you're both.
I don't know what we're doing we're doing recommendations. Jim, are we doing all in favor of these budgets or are we just making recommendations and then have the final vote at the end of the day?
Generally, that's what we do.
You
So it doesn't
looked for
matter if
consensus.
Bev recommended it and Ken
No.
seconded it.
Yep. Because we'll be doing the full vote on the entire budget at the end. Okay, thanks. Yes,
Question, so
Yes.
last year we started putting money aside for a generator replacement at the fire hall, EOC.
Yeah.
I don't see that in this year's budget anywhere. Carry over energy additional.
Nothing was mentioned about it. Like,
I just thought if we put money in it already, the assumption is we're gonna keep on putting money into it, but. No. I don't know that.
so how much do we have in the generator reserve now?
it was
I
20.
believe it's 15,000.
You Postponed to 20.
Reserve size or is it?
Fire and
What
then
was
get
it
the
there?
other one to work.
We have the capital, like it's a 4 or 5.
No, we're not giving them the work. We might in 2027.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
When the new one.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, so
We're making the
whatever
final
the process is to do that.
truck, and we'll wait till that's done.
That's okay. But you want more. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just, we'll get the generator back on track here. So there's 15,000, nothing was added in this year's capital,
Right.
possibly an oversight. So do we want to add that or just,
I mean,
it was a
so
5-year plan, was it not? Like a 15,000 a year to get to 75,000.
Right.
So I think we should
Yep.
continue on that approach. So
so we're gonna remove the 100,000, we're gonna add in 15,000 to an existing reserve. We do
Yes.
that though in the reserve budget, right? Okay,
okay,
so we'll bring that up when we do the reserves. Yep.
okay. Thank you. Thanks for bringing it up, Claudia.
That's everything for fire then?
Everything else moved ahead as unscathed.
We can move on to arena.
Arena, we have 3 capital items of arena annual structural maintenance, the community hall parking lot, and the ice resurfacer.
Those are all 3 additional to existing accounts. Is that correct, Mike, or is one of them new?
The only one that's, the first one and third one are existing. The second one is new. There's a space that was identified in the parking lot on the east side. Where water does accumulate in the wintertime. It is, there's some handicap parking and it has been considered some hazard in the past. We've done a lot of salting to confirm that space is safe, but we're looking for a more permanent solution to be able to evacuate that water.
Okay, so
So for the ice resurfacing machine, you'll see above, you'll have a revenue of 194,868, then you have an expense of 194,868, and then in the reserve budget, you see a contribution to the ice resurfacer of 40,000. So we've got 154, whatever it is that we've been in reserves over the last few years. We need to add 40 more, and then so there's a transfer in of 40, and then pulling the full amount out to pay for the ice resurfacer.
any questions?
There again, trade-in. Do you have any money coming back for our other one?
There is potential. The unit itself is 13 years old.
Yeah.
We have been told because of the condition that it's been maintained in, there is some trade-in value. I can't comment on how much at this point, but we will be absolutely talking to.
Okay. That's
So-
all I wanna know.
I have a question, in acknowledging the maintenance, but you used the terms end of life and, where's the other one? Expensive repairs are on the horizon. Can you elaborate on what expensive repairs you're sort of predicting?
Recently, we've just replaced a motor that was the full 13-year age. The company itself was shocked that the motor was actually still operating to the effectiveness it was. That's one of multiple within the unit itself. They did advise us that we will see some further large scale repairs coming to that particular unit just due to its age.
I'm just confused. We spent 30 grand on new batteries. We spent 15 grand on an extensive maintenance program.
Mhm.
We put new tires and rims on it. We replaced this pump that you talk about. I just don't know what else is left to fail to make it end of life.
Again, with the recommendations from the company itself and myself speaking to 3 other municipalities who do their trade-ins every 5 years on very similar units to this because of the issue that they've run into in the past. It's been recommended to us that we replace this entire unit and hopefully get some additional trade-in value to purchase a new one.
Jane, how would the trade-in be booked? Do we just reduce the actual price of the purchase, or does it get booked as a revenue?
Trade-in?
The trade-in of the ice resurfacer?
Good question. This depends on the book value. If it's over the net book value or we put the reserve over revenue account, it's not, that's another one.
It would be nice if we'd known the trade-in value, because we might not have to transfer this $40,000 if we're getting $40,000 for it. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a trade-in value. We typically don't when we're trading things in, and it just contribute, I mean, it'll go into a reserve. Like if it's $15,000 trade-in, that money will go to the reserve, a surplus at the end of the year. I see what you're saying, but at the end of the day, the result is gonna be the same. We're not gonna spend the money,
Right.
you know, if
If
there's
you
a
get
trade-in
40,000 with
value,
the trade, it's gonna go back to
It's
reserves.
just go back into reserve, yeah.
Well, a couple of years ago, I thought they quoted about 43 or something.
Yeah.
2 years ago or something, when we talked about, you know, we were gonna do it then and then we put it off.
And I hope that would be higher, given how much we've spent on it, because the batteries are 2 years old now. And are like,
Wouldn't think it'd be higher, but anyways.
well, the batteries were $30,000. So I would think that that would drive up the trade value, because whoever's getting it is gonna have, like, that's one less worry.
It was certainly something I can speak to them about. That would be.
Yeah, it would be nice when we do the trade, just to sell them on how well it's been maintained, that they know they've done all the maintenance, but making sure we're maximizing our return. Mayor Hand?
I had a question just related to it, because when it broke down recently, that was like October or whatever.
Right.
We were lucky because the gentleman came to the arena and repaired it.
Thank you. That's a great point. It's due to the excellent relationship
Yeah.
with our arena staff in this company, where the person was in transit from
Yeah.
his home location
Yeah.
to another location, stopped here on his own time to not only investigate but repair the issue at the time.
So what would have happened, it was just, I thought about it later. If we didn't get it repaired, do we have a backup plan that we can borrow?
At this point, I'll have to speak to arena staff directly. I'm not aware of
Okay, I just-
anything
it was-
that
I was
we
just
would be able
curious.
to do immediately.
What would
to
we do,
do
you
that.
know? We lost the Zamboni, or,
Yeah, because if we're gonna lose revenue,
Oh,
you know.
yeah,
So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's something to keep in
And-
mind as well, right? Because that's where I was gonna go with my question.
and that's.
What's a backup plan if we?
When he came that day, he was telling Derek, you know, your vehicle is 13 years old and you really need to think about it. And
Yeah.
We were just fortunate, and the other repair, they were able to send the part or something.
Yes, yeah,
They
they
had
were-
2 repairs right at
Yes.
the beginning of hockey
that's
season,
correct.
Yeah.
and we lucked out both times to get it done right away.
That's right.
It just, yeah, thank you.
So I've been a little bit educated. The battery, this is our 5th year with batteries. I was not aware of that.
It's amazing how quickly time goes by. I would have
Yeah.
thought 3 at the most.
And they were $21,000. I thought, when I said 3, I thought I was being generous. So have you obtained the quote for the purchase and a trade-in?
I've obtained the quote for purchase. The trade-in will be determined on the inspection of the existing unit, and then we'll do this evaluation.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead with the,
What's the lead time?
That's,
We're talking next season?
yes,
not a fire truck, but
yes, yeah. The idea is,
Just so we know.
yes,
Right.
we would be getting it next, yes. Within place.
Yeah.
and then we'd also save the money on our annual maintenance on it. I don't know how much that is, but we ship it down to Olympia every year, so.
Yeah, like August, so you wouldn't have that trip.
Yeah. Okay, next capital item is a lawn tractor for $47,000. Is this a lawn mower or a,
Yes, it's a large, one of our large units, large Kubota units. What are we down to?
This was deferred from last year? Is it not?
no, it doesn't show that. Oh, it's listed as unfunded in 2025.
Yeah, so it's one of our 3 main Kubota units. We've got, I've done the analysis for the hours on them. This particular unit is well over 2,200 hours, between 22 and 3,000 hours is the projected time to be able to trade in one of these values for its highest units for its highest value. We have seen quite a bit more repairs on this particular unit as well, safety feature issues, more of just the ability to make it start, make it run. We've been able to fix them internally or with a little bit of help from the manufacturer, but it has been suggested to us to not only get the tax value trade, but also to purchase a new unit. This is that again, we had deferred this, I believe, to last year.
Plus, we put 10,000 away every year for repairs on Kubota.
I'll make it down here. We were still on Arena.
We'd covered the 3 arena.
Yeah, yeah. Detailed sheets aren't the same order as this.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Yes, this. He's got up there.
yeah, but I'm trying to,
Just on the, it's kind of got a hole.
yeah. Okay, so let's, I'm sorry, I'm trying,
That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to read the detailed sheets down below, which are out of order compared to up top. So let's go back to the annual structural maintenance of the arena. What is that all about? That's,
So every 5 years, we're required to have an engineering report completed. This was completed at the end of last year. Ardale came in and they look at all structural details from the arena, from trusses right down to foundational work. They had found that there was a number of issues, minor in nature, but had not been corrected over the last 3 internal investigations. Some small work had been done, but what we're looking at doing is creating an annual repair budget to tackle some of these larger issues that we've looked at. Last year, we had a budget of 25,000, but as we got the quotations from individual contractors, it was not near enough to be able to support what was necessary in terms of some structural issues, specifically on the inside of the arena.
so this is just to do inspections and do some of the repairs?
This is to repair some of the inspected work already completed. So we have multiple individual phases I'm looking at over the next couple of years. This additional money to the carryovers from last year is to complete a major repair that has been identified.
And you, okay, you want to set up some, like just an ongoing, every year have this be available?
Correct. On the basis that the engineering report does show multiple different issues that are there, again, not major in terms of structural, but minor in terms of structural, but if we do not continue to look at them, this is something that I would like to start an ongoing repair aspect. From the recent conference I went to, the Aging Infrastructure Conference,
Yep.
specifically speaking about arenas, this has become critical, and because of the age of our arena, it has been kept in immaculate shape, and it's very well structurally sound in order to keep it that way and to maintain its age. This is something that I believe we should be doing.
Just on
Yeah,
the,
go
I
ahead.
know in the past, I think we actually the council got a copy of the engineering report, so we could understand. Like, not that we don't trust you, because so we can look at it ourselves and just understand, where we're going with this.
I will happily pass it on.
That'd be very helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay. What's the next item then, Jim? We have,
Arena parking lot?
Sinkhole.
the sinkhole, yeah, the sinkholes, I think we approved that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we get into,
Sanitap, mid repairs.
Water?
Yeah, because it went on the roof.
well, there's like three different
Yeah,
orders here. I'm like, this one here that you printed off for me.
Yeah.
Some of the items aren't even there. Thanks, Mike.
No problem.
Okay, so let's go through this list that's up on the screen. So
Yeah.
we've done the ice resurfacer, that's been approved. And the trade-in value will be credited back to reserves. And purchase, we're taking 40 grand out of reserves to complete that amount. The lawn tractor, we're on that. What did we decide on that?
Because he'd already deferred it for a year, so.
Okay, so we go ahead with lawn tractor.
And there'll be a trade-in on that as well.
Correct.
So that will be something coming back.
Okay, the waterfront park washroom at $75,000. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
Certainly. The $75,000 would be to look at some architectural and some engineering details on how to structurally repair that space. The washroom itself has seen some end of life issues. It's currently on the inside. You can see some major degradation of some concrete and some steel. There is some issues that we've run into with some plumbing over this last year, and as we've talked quite often, county council, that there's been some vandalism issues that we continue to see. Not to mention that it is only at about an 8-month operating unit. My suggestion to council is to look at creation of either some level of repair so that we can operate that building on a 12-month, or completely restructure that unit on its existing footprint and build a brand new unit that allows for 12-month operation.
Are you proposing brand new, like demo and rebuild, or using the existing exterior walls?
My initial detail would be to look at existing. If there was a way to use the existing structure, that would be the best way to be able to handle it. Otherwise, I would have to look into a full rebuild. I have spoken to a couple communities that have 12-month operating units. And I was hoping to use some of their expertise and existing knowledge to help this process along. But the initial money is to look at getting an architect and an engineer involved with the existing space to see what we can potentially do.
And then in your notes, you comment on possible $1 million expenditure. I assume this is not one of those self-cleaning ones.
So one of the communities I had contacted was with Lincoln Shores, and they did speak about the self-cleaning unit. I got both the benefits and the detractions from that particular unit. It's something I don't know if I would proceed with at that location from the information I've learned from them. So.
Okay. Any questions on this?
Just on this one here, I would assume because of the location in that, and it'd be mat money we'd be using for this. Because it's more of a, like,
Should be
mat money, because it doesn't say so that I can see on this. document.
waterfront.
Yeah. So,
And then just, can you expand on the end of life status of it, like with block walls and aluminum fixtures? How is it go ahead.
So the end of life, I believe there's a functional end of life and there's a structural end of life. When you look at the structural end of life, as you just mentioned, anything in terms of the block walls, the roof, the foundation, that's where that becomes. The functional end of life would become the ability to actually be used at that time. So I do know that this year we did have a couple issues in terms of the plumbing that were required to be repaired, as well as the fixtures within the unit itself are starting to degrade. We're seeing some major issues, at which point becomes a functional end of life for those aspects. So that's, I apologize for not.
No, that's great. Thank you. And I do know we get feedback, is that the right term, every year when we close it for the winter, and why can't it be year round? And I think a couple of years ago, I did ask the question of, can we get it year round? And, we were told at the time when it was built, it was not built with insulation or proper piping and all that stuff to go year round. It's not as simple as putting in a space heater up in the ceiling.
No. That's part of the challenge we're running into right now because of the block wall, and it is just your typical piping, internal residential piping, without having appropriate heating and insulation of that, or having the unit heated from below to allow a full heat to be able to go through the structure itself.
And I assume the company you would hire would look at designs to prevent it from being somewhere for someone to live in the winter. There's got to be some ways to prevent that, is it?
It would be part of the process. Typically, in the past, when I've done similar style projects, I've put user groups together, and some of the user groups would be anybody that actually from council, from staff, but also from people that use that individual space to say what would they like to see. And the police would be part of that, just to identify for any, if we can avoid people using that space other than what it's meant to be used for. It would be good.
Mary Ann?
This we're paying, something like 400 a month. Maybe that's too high with a portable that was brought in that sits, beside the splash pad building.
Yes.
So you could, eventually, that's $400 that we're spending every month that you wouldn't spend if you winterized it.
That's cool.
That would
But
be
you
really
would
help pay the
be-
$1 million.
Well, no,
Yeah.
There'd be additional cleaning costs though. Right now we clean it for 7 months, we gotta clean it
Yeah.
now for 12
Yeah.
months, so.
Yeah.
I think
There
we
would be
spend
a-
400 in cleaning pretty quickly, I
Yeah.
think.
That's correct.
And question, do we know the current life, like, current age, I guess, of the facility?
it's old.
I was about to say, that
Yeah.
from my most recent information, it was well over 20 years old, but
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
have to identify that.
I'm just curious,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, so this is a $75,000 expense to just get a report back on options, recommendations on making it a year-round facility.
And to bring that back to council for, here are some options and what we would look at, and then I can proceed it.
And I know when we first discussed this, it was talked about it being part of the 150th.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts that it may be able to be done by then?
If we start immediately, I can get some details as quickly as possible with some feedback. I believe I can bring it to council, and then it will just depend on if there are any particular contractors and vendors available to do the work with. them.
Because we did talk about having some legacy projects.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think this is a good,
The one, at the animal farm.
Mhm.
It's not that much of a fancy building. That's not much different than what we have,
Mhm.
and it's open 12 months a year.
Mhm.
So they don't have anything different. It's block walls and, I don't know.
I've had some conversations with Sarnia in
Yeah.
regards to that particular one, so.
okay, so are we agreed to go $75,000?
Yeah, from that.
We already did the annual structural maintenance, 30,000, the arena parking lot, 5,000, the village roof maintenance, 15,000. What is that, Mike?
So very similar to what Jay was looking at doing, I've been involved with a few vendors who look at doing asset management and structural management of all our above structures. As we've looked at just identify not only age, but condition assessments across the village for village owned properties. I found that identifying what that looks like to not only understand what we have in terms of the assets, but the condition that they remain in, very similar to the engineering assessment that's done at the arena, it would be done across all village assets. So I had them do our roof and the structure at the Public Works building, which hasn't seen a lot of maintenance over the last 20+ years. They were able to identify some stronger details that were structurally based and have it repaired for far less money than I initially had anticipated to be able to be completed. And that was in this current year's budget that I had asked for. This is an expansion on that. So we have I guess I should also come back, when I think of all the structures within, I do include the library and the fire hall, I include the police station, I include Jay's buildings, and just everything that is within the village asset to be maintained within this. So it would be pushing that program out further. There's a lot of reporting that comes back to us, and much like Jay had mentioned earlier, that when we have some software, we can put that into the software, and then we'll have some reportability to understand this particular asset's coming to this age. We should start putting some money away for repairs of not only the roof, but exterior structure.
And you used the term existing Garland roofing program. Is Garland a company?
Garland's company.
And where'd they come from?
They're from Windsor.
From
Yeah,
Windsor.
the primary, he's actually from Croton in town.
And so the people that have done all our roof work to date couldn't provide this service? Like,
Not to this,
But-
not to this level. They can repair. If we brought in a local company, they would be able to repair. This company specializes in the assessment of the roof. They can actually do thermal assessments to identify if they can see water underneath, they can see cracks underneath that are not visible to the eye. And typically when water in that will hold over time, you'll have the crack, and then you'll also have some structural damage underneath on the substructure. So they focus very much on this area, and that's where we were able to find a number of issues at Public Works this year,
So did we go, sorry, one last, did we go to RFP for this contract?
No, it was I was Garland had already been a village vendor. They had done all the work at the arena.
Yeah.
Previously, so I looked at expansion of program.
Okay, sorry, go ahead, Paul.
I just have a question, with all this extra due diligence, is there any chance that it could reduce any of our insurance costs?
Great question. That's a potential. We'd speak to the insurance vendor.
If we're gonna put money into this and get ahead of the game
Yeah.
and do our due diligence, maybe there should be something that,
Mhm.
you know, reduces our insurance.
We'd certainly look into
Because that seems to be one of our biggest expenses.
That can be noted. Any other questions on the village roof? Okay. Village bench rehab. That's ongoing and it's something, so how many got done in 2025?
35.
35, and where are they? Cause I can't find them.
I can give you a full list. I can identify it specifically.
And so they're now composite wood?
They're all pressure treated wood.
Oh,
We
pressure
looked at the composite, but there were some structural issues. Anything over 5 feet, you will get dips
Yeah.
in the composite over time, so we stuck with the pressure treated.
Somebody just sent me a nice picture recently of some
Perfect.
refinished benches along that water.
I'll change my walk route. And are we painted? Do we paint the like the metal?
We did,
Okay,
yes, they
so-
took it down, they scraped any of the existing debris off it, and then they repainted it,
Okay.
that's correct.
So your goal would be another 35 this year? Give or take?
As many as possible.
Okay.
There was some hardware that was required to be able to do, as well as a couple tools that were pushed into that.
Yep.
We try to clean as much as possible
Nice.
prior to actually replacing. And then there's an identification system that's been put into place to say, these are the worst. And then over the next few years, we will be able to replace accordingly.
Nice.
Further to this program, I'm gonna be reviewing the memorial bench program.
Yeah.
And then coming back to council with some suggestions that might mirror some of the local communities.
Yeah.
For that purpose.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it so everybody can see it. It looks really nice.
Okay, I'm glad to see we're tackling those because some of them were getting pretty rough and dangerous. Pathway repair, 25,000. So did we ever repair? Oh, sorry, go ahead. Additional. Did we ever do the one down by the splash pad?
The issue with the pathway repair was the size of it, and due to the amount of asphalt that was being laid in the Lambton County community, it was unable to get a vendor down there for that small project to be able to complete in the timeline. I have spoken to them, and there is a potential that if the spring works out well, I'll be able to get that done very early in spring and continue along that waterfront pathway.
Okay, Mayor Hand?
We have asphalt coming around October for the second paving.
For St. Clair Street.
That's correct. No, there is the potential to be able to
Maybe you could
use.
tie into that if you can wait.
It will depend on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's,
Yeah.
we did consider that. One of the options we're hoping is that, with this size and scope of that project, that we'll get a large company with very large machinery to be able to do it maybe in a day or two, that entire space, which might preclude us from using smaller pieces, but thank you. No,
Yeah.
we'll certainly look at them.
Okay, any questions or more comments on pathway repair? Okay. So the extra 25,000, that's just to do more. You've
That's-
identified other areas that are,
Yes,
They're
yeah,
struggling?
there are a number of areas down on waterfront as we're looking at legacy projects down in that space. If we can continue down from Monk all the way to the waterfront, as well as some of the large suppressions that we have on the south side of that pathway.
Yeah.
That's what we've been looking at.
Okay.
Is that map money? For the pathway?
It was.
Yes. And what about benches? Were they mapped too? That's all, I don't know.
I don't
I
remember
don't know
that.
what
I
our
just-
definition of
I think we
this
gotta,
is
like,
anymore.
we're really hammering Matt, which is
Yeah.
lovely, but
Yeah.
this is just ongoing maintenance of benches that,
Yeah, I didn't think the benches were,
No.
but the pathway, yes,
Pathway is, okay.
because it's waterfront.
I'm just asking because, this has a tax implication to our residents,
Pardon?
tax implication. If we, if you don't use it for mat, like the mat takes it out of that stream.
Oh, right, yeah,
That's all.
sorry, I thought you meant we were doing that.
No.
I was confused.
okay, next item on the agenda is
Yes.
an additional $165,000 for the lighting upgrade on the path.
Mhm. This year I had spoken to Blue Water Power. They have done a lot of lighting repairs and have a number of distributors in the area. I've contacted the distributors over a number of months and didn't receive a lot of feedback directly for them. As I found out, some of the distributors are not interested in working directly with communities. They like to work with the LDC and then the LDC to be able to come and do the work with us. I would like to cut out as much of the additional cost that attributes.
What's an LDC?
So your local distribution company.
Okay.
Blue Water Power.
Okay.
Blue Water. So it's identifying individual vendors who will sell us the product. As well as reviewing the product itself with Blue Water. I don't know what's completely necessary. I don't know if we need the new shrouds as well, or just the bases. And that's something I'll certainly talk to Chief, and he's got a lot of experience in the lighting systems there, so. The idea was to add additional funding to be able to purchase as many lights as possible, again, depending on the evaluation. The valuation that I've received, and just on very rough, is anywhere between $2,000 and $2,500 a light or better. They're very, very expensive, plus the replacement cost, the actual physical cost to replace them.
I think you mean or worse.
Or,
Not
sorry,
better.
thank you. You are right, or worse. So the additional project was to continue, again, as we look at Waterfront Park, replace Waterfront Park and then move down the pathway as far as we possibly.
So
can.
we have what, 90 fixtures?
Over 90 fixtures, that's right.
So at $3,000 a pop, that's like 270,000 and right.
Plus installation.
Yeah.
We do.
I sort of put installation on that.
It's, yes.
Is it more than 500 a light to install them?
It just depends. It's,
Yeah. Chief, do you have any comments on these?
Vendor, you already bought, well, Steve bought 2 lights last year, I believe, right? We replaced one on Livingston, so that would give that number. As I've explained to Deputy Mayor Grimes prior to these lights, a lot of thought has to go in it.
Right.
It's not the fixture, it's what you're gonna have to maintain with the fixture. The biggest problem that you have down there is dusted on sensors for the fixtures. They didn't change them. There's still this little plastic shroud that holds over the top. To me, it should be one it's gonna be changed. Because originally when Steve was looking at them, they were all supposed to be incorporated into the fixture, but they're not. It should be investigated in a lot more detail. What's it gonna take to replace them? Do they fit? Do they not fit? And then as far as the working parts, as far as the dusted on sensor, the actual shade itself is the bulb now. So there will be no more repair. It'll be replaced
Right.
from here on through. So I just say, should look at all avenues before you make a decision on the fixtures, I believe anyways.
so further to Chief, I've looked at that.
Yeah.
That's exactly the details I've received in terms of the exact size, the exact fixtures, the exact dusted on sensors and everything else. That's the bottom shroud that would be fit into that space. That was the work I was looking at doing with the individual companies. So, and that's on the existing suggestion that you've made previously. I appreciate that.
So you're saying we would replace from the top of the pole up would be all brand new sensors, lights, glass, everything would be brand new.
But it's the same thing. If they're the same dusted on sensors and the same shroud.
Right.
You're not going in the right direction. It has to be something different. The problem is the UV rays are just destroying these shades and all the parts for the sensors. And then the insects get in there and then that destroys it also. So it should be I would hope they would make a better unit, to be quite honest with you, so what I've seen for the last one I put up. I wasn't overly impressed by it.
So the one that Steve bought isn't.
As far as I know, that's what Mike's talking.
So the one Steve purchased originally was the to match what's existing down there. I've looked at that as well as alternatives that fit within that existing space to try to find out what the best option would be. Again, I can't get a distributor to not only send me one, but as well give me additional prices to be able to do that. So that's the investigation portion at this point.
So the design and look could be totally different than what's there now.
The idea is is close as possible,
Okay.
right? The idea is not to change the heritage look that's in it with that. It's to keep it as close as possible.
But make it improve the functionality.
Correct.
The
So-
life cycle.
We're asking for 165,000. Do we want to maintain that? Again, is this something, if we move it, can this be a 2028 legacy project as well? Because we have 265,000 right now.
A question,
Yep.
just money wise, have we looked at our Point Edward electricity holdings fund that we get from dividends from Blue Water Power? Okay. Anytime we talk about electrical stuff, I always wonder about that account.
Yeah.
Because we get money into that.
Mostly we've used it at the arena over the last couple of years.
The arena's right up to date.
Yeah.
It's right there,
So I'm curious if it's
We've got
available
about
where we can spend
133,000 or something like that.
136
One
is
thirty-six.
what that number is, I
out
think.
of that.
So I know this, I thought last year we earmarked 100 of that out of this. That we were gonna work on that,
For the lights.
yeah,
I mean,
that 100 we said last year would come out of this dividend.
Should we do another 100 and not do the whole 165? And take it out of that?
We haven't taken any out yet. Have we?
sorry, Paul.
That's what the money's there for, is
Yeah.
electrical,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we said just to alleviate it up on some
We
projects.
didn't physically need any money last year. We just-
Yeah. 100,000.
Thank you. Well, no, I went over.
Yeah,
to get one.
we already have 100 in there, right? Yes.
It's 100, it's 136 right now. Is that right?
No.
Based on what Jane said.
There's 136 in the revenue from Blue Water Power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike's asking for 165 to go into the reserve for the lights. Which is, so I'm saying, we have two options. We either do another 100, not the 165, it'll slow the project down. We do the 136, which is the exact amount Blue Water Power is projected to give us. Or we do 165 and then it comes out of the tax revenue.
Did we, I haven't heard, did we have any other plan for a place for those dividend money?
No, we won't spend it once.
Well, no, I just wondered if anything else has come up, because this sounds like an ideal,
That was the one I had my eye on
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that money, if it was close.
sounds like an ideal
We
location.
talked about that last year.
Yeah,
Say that that's the one.
So you get
And the only-
136.
So the only other thing you want to make, is those fixtures, it's hard to explain. But there's pieces. They need work. There's set screws that actually hold the base on the top of that pole on there. Those set screws, a lot of them are corroded or they're seized. So right now, the top of that fixture is like this. So more work may have to be done. So I say if you can find the fixture, take the time. Put it on, make sure, have a look at everything. Prior to getting this job started.
Yeah.
Cause hopefully you can do it once and. That's gonna be for quite some time, because that's the whole idea of LED. We should be able to do it and then it'd be done with them.
Like a pilot.
Yes,
Before-
because there's more to it than just.
it's
A lot more to it.
I agree with Chief. I think that's absolutely correct. If we can find, and that's why I was hoping to get one or two of some different options to be able to look to confirm that, as he mentioned. We're able to remove that, and that's why I was concerned about the labor aspect of it. If we're replacing that whole base shroud, that would be a lot more.
So just a suggestion, why don't we just put in another 100,000 into the reserves? This sounds like it's gonna be another year or more of investigation and research. And then 2027's budget, the rest of the money.
Also, can I
Yep.
just add, can we look for some grant money on that? Cause I know it's like, I just saw something about, there's some kind of grant out there for LED data. So I don't know. Things are changing so quick anymore that we can't keep up to it.
So we have consensus on that, so we're gonna change it to 100,000 to that project from the Blue Water Power. Instead of 165.
But the dividend was 136.
Yeah.
You're just saying give them part of it?
Yeah, last year we only gave 100 of it, and then the rest just it drives down taxes, right?
No,
No,
no, we've never used the dividend to pay for taxes.
no, it
Correct? We've never used, the dividend has always gone to capital.
A capital project with regards to lighting.
Gotcha.
Or energy efficiencies.
The other portion that comes from Blue Water Power goes towards taxes.
Okay. We do the whole 136.91.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's constant revenue,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 165 becomes 136,091.
$236.
Well, there's already 100 there. We're adding another
Now it'd be
136.
236.
But I think there's been agreement between the chief and Mike and us that we just gotta make sure we do this
Right.
right the first time and do it once, and then we get fixtures. How long have these fixtures been here now?
Ones that are, yeah.
Yes.
I think
So,
changed almost everything on them, more
Yeah.
than twice now.
Yeah,
so just make sure that, you know, that we find the best product that has the longest life.
And the least amount of maintenance.
Yes, yeah.
yeah, right.
That's a good.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Okay, lighting upgrade, these Cenotaph, $10,000. I noticed in the notes, it was about replacing the fence. Is this? We have the land swap? That's
Nothing yet.
nothing.
It's,
close, but it's
well,
not.
we might know more on Thursday.
Okay.
He said, the last update was it was back to our lawyer.
Okay.
For the final, he's saying
And she's got,
the final time.
yeah.
So we're close.
Okay, you want to expand on it, Mike?
Certainly, thank you. So this, the $9,000 that were received in last year's budget, I did some initial consultation with some companies to find out what it would cost to replace the fence as it is. It was something in that very nice laminate style. The pricing came out well over $36,000 to replace the fencing that's there, which exceeds that budget. It was, I was rather shocked by that as well. So bringing it back to the CAO and just asking, is the fence necessary, in understanding that there is a potential land swap? Should we wait to identify a larger scale project that would benefit that entire space? As a transition area between the arena and some.
I agree that we should wait because of what the potential is, but we can also investigate grants for, like, it's a park, so should be a
Sort of
possibility.
like what we do with Monk Street's
Yeah,
project.
yeah. So not right away, but get working on it.
So I think there's a bit of a question here though, around the fence, like. Does council wish to maintain a fence there? It's Mike's indicating it's getting close to needing replacement. It's going to be a very expensive replacement. You drive around the county and most cenotaphs do not have a fence around them, so. I realize it's beautiful, but
It's not anymore.
it's gonna spend.
We had that discussion at committee about just opening it up, because you can walk around the fence and have access, and it really serves no purpose as it sits right now. I'm not sure it would stop a vehicle that got forced off the road or anything like that.
Or it doesn't prevent vandalism.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's-
open, it's just got a fence.
Yeah,
So can we postpone the decision until we get to that step of incorporating? And decide at that time, like, or do it now?
I say, let's remove it now. And then when we get to that step, then we've got to,
You can still decide if we.
Still got 9,000 in a reserve.
Well, yeah, to me, I mean, I don't know what. The fence is gonna be huge. If we are gonna replace the fence, that's gonna be a huge amount of money, I think. Whether you take $10,000 out of the budget or not, like 9,000 is not gonna get you very far to renovate anything in that park. I think, in my opinion, you leave the 9,000 original, add 10,000 to it, and then let Mike come back to you with a plan. And then the direction we're looking for from council, does that plan include a fence? Because if it does, the plan is gonna be very expensive.
and like, when we talk about the plan, we're talking about incorporating the new property into
Yeah,
the park.
yep.
And because we talked about a gazebo, an indigenous sort of reflection area. We talked about as well, right?
Not a gazebo,
Okay.
because there's in the agreement.
Or pergola.
Like, there's even question, and I have to ask Joe, like, there's even question whatever we would be able to plant a tree in that space, yeah, like they're quite restrict, definitely not playground
I don't think
equipment,
we'd
like
have-
it's passive park,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
So
maybe a couple benches, like,
Potential expansion of the pathways we talked about.
yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
Yeah.
rolling the pathway through to the arena parking lot.
So I personally never envisioned it as a playground location. It's a memorial park.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even,
The bridge is very specific about being a passive park. Like that's what we've talked about all along.
but an extension of the multi-use path through there to connect to the parking lot. is-
And that was talked about with them. I
It's
was
something we should-
surprised to see this piece about not being able to plant, and I question whether we can't plant trees or not. Paula kind of thought maybe, when I read it, I don't read it that way, but we can talk with Joe about that on the.
So what are the thoughts on the existing fence? Remove?
I think we have to.
Yeah, I think so
It's
too.
deteriorating.
It's a hazard. It's not. good
It
looking.
really serves no purpose.
No.
Do we do it now or we wait till the spring?
No, or well, now
Depending
or
on
spring,
what-
depends what Mike can pull off.
We'll see what.
The question is though, do we put $10,000 in it?
Yes,
Yeah. So we put that in and then we determine
I
what
call,
it's gonna cost to remove that or how it's gonna happen or whatever, see if there's gonna be a cost. Can we do it internally or is it, you know,
I will have to investigate it.
let Mike run with it?
but I think if I'm reading, I think we still want to maintain the 10,000 contribution because we're gonna have an expense to incorporate that new land
exactly,
into the
because
park.
we want to do
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Like, there's actually a couple of families that are waiting, the potential of benches.
Yes,
Like one of them
Yeah.
is, related to the arena figure skating.
yeah,
And another one that's waiting to see if that's, since we've lost the waterfront benches, I mean,
Yeah.
not lost, they're sold out. So there's a new area coming that might fit in with something.
okay, so the direction I'm hearing is, we maintain the $10,000 contribution for this year. And that we direct staff to remove the existing fence in the most economical way possible. Right, and no reinstallation till we come up with a full master plan for the park.
That's fine.
All right,
Basin,
what's that?
catch basin
Okay.
protection.
Is that not a carry forward?
It's a carryover.
Oh, sorry.
The only other new, and can you just go over a little bit, Jim, there? I think we have 3 unfunded items. I don't know if you can, because I think these were landscape.
Let's go.
That radar device, there's a new one coming out from the provincial government since they've removed the cameras called the Road Safety Initiatives Fund. And it's for traffic calming and stuff like that. I know it's not out yet, but it's coming in the new year, so maybe we could look at that to see if we can get some money. How about we ask them to pay for all our ball boats too?
Yeah, I wish this was the other way around. We were just doing ball boats this year. Okay, so the radar device, we're gonna leave unfunded and try and seek a grant.
Yeah, there could be grant money bills.
Yeah.
The half-ton pickup truck, I think in keeping with the theme with the fire department, we're just gonna postpone that for a year. Okay, and is that everybody's
Mhm.
consensus? And then the waterfront park food court, I think it's
Yeah,
30,000.
30,000.
Okay, can you elaborate on that, Mike, for us?
Again, that's, it was an initial idea that was brought up last year about, where the existing food, pad is, we have that concreted area where people sit. Directly to the south of that was to mirror what was on the north side and create a food court that was very close to the washrooms. As that other space that is further to the north has been occupied now by the bulletin board and it hasn't been deemed the safest place to be able to have anything with ignition sources that was that close to the park. So yeah, just create a larger kind of a food-based area, people can all gather around, it's seated, we've got all the different types of benches and everything else, and it's very close to the water. It was also assist with garbage cleanup, and just, we can condense everything into one particular area.
So it'd be like a paved picnic area for people, you don't have to buy French fries necessarily, but you could bring your own.
The idea would be to have a secondary space where we could sell another.
Oh, okay,
vendor.
oh,
So
okay,
Well,
we
that's
would
the
have two
second
food
spot.
vendors.
Yeah.
Correct,
Okay,
that's the second spot.
okay.
It would be to create the base for that area.
okay.
There'd be some electrical work that'd be necessary to put a secondary post there and then put the concrete down for that, or the asphalt down for that.
So the second vendor that was talking to us moved along. Is there interest out there?
I have had no bids submitted yet. They're due next,
No bids.
no,
for
they're
this-
due this Friday
No bids for the second spot?
for the
For both.
first spot.
For the
We've had
first
no bids submitted so far. I've had two people express interest. But we've had nothing, and I expect they will submit,
Yeah.
but I
It just
expect one
went
of
out
them.
a week ago,
Oh, no,
Mhm.
it's been out for about 3
Okay.
weeks.
but
It's
it included an
3.
option for a second person to come forward.
So I know you have to plan and stuff, but I'd be okay leaving this unfunded until such time as we get approached by a second vendor. And then if we get a vendor and we sign a 5-year deal, and then we could invest $30,000. I just think that. Anybody else thoughts on that, Paul?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I think we had that thought last.
Yeah.
Same thought. Because we had a potential and that fell through. So that's what prompted all this.
Mhm,
Well, I can agree with that.
mhm.
Sure.
Yep, okay. Okay, it is 12:20. Is that all for operations capital?
Yes,
Is it a natural spot to break for that?
unless you want to do the reserves first. But there's not a lot of reserves there, but I'm fine with taking a break too.
Yeah, we'll break.
Okay,
Everybody here for a bet. it might
Yeah,
be
yeah.
good.
okay, so,
We'll
yeah,
break until 1 PM, is that? Or do you want to go
I
to,
think,
so, or 12:45, what does everybody think? 1 o'clock?
It's nice and brown.
Okay,
$50.
Not like a running off.
so we'll reconvene at 1 PM.